are in the zone.
The Zone is presented by Guaranteed Foods, delivering all-natural food to Midwestern families since 1958. Enjoy healthier food, more free time, free delivery, and better value. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com.
I'm at a Thursday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours, we've got you. Boy, a lot of stuff to get into today. Busy, jam-packed show with a number of different things to talk about today. We will talk with Kent Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock, an hour from now, kcsn.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast, KC Sports Network. We'll talk with him at 11 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the Chiefs, get his thoughts on free agency, what the next moves may be for the Chiefs, and if there are any other players that were on the Chiefs last year that may be returning to the team this next year, maybe specifically defensive players, and then the new kickoff rule, etc., what the Chiefs may or may not do. We will talk about that with Kent Swanson. We'll get a little rugby talk with Kent Swanson because Louis Rees-Zammit, you big fan, Dylan? Familiar with Louis' work? Or Luis?
Yeah, I'm going to get a new jersey, actually.
There you go. No, he's not from New Jersey. He's Welsh.
Oh, no. I mean, I had to update the jersey now. I have to wait for the number to come out.
The Rees-Zammit on the back. Rees-Zammit. You know, he's 6'3", 209. Apparently, he runs a 4.4. We'll see. You know what? Throw a dart. You know, he was working out for a couple of teams, and the Chiefs decide to sign him. Pick him up, put him on your practice squad, or have him there for workouts. What's the worst that can happen? You move on from him. You look at him, put on some pads, see what he looks like, and if he doesn't look like a football player and looks like a rugby player trying to play football, well, you move on.
Might work for the new kickoffs, though.
You know, I mean, the guy can run and kick at the same time. I mean, in rugby, if you're able to run, drop the ball, kick it a little bit, have it roll, bounce up, pick it up, run, punt it, you know, rugby-style kickers. We see that all the time in the NFL. But, you know, this guy could go and cover kick. There it is. That's what Dave Toub wants. This is the guy for Dave Toub. It's the Dave Toub guy. He will now be doing kickoffs. He'll be kicking off and then covering because that's what you need. You need the guy who's going to be kicking the ball, the kicker, to also go down and cover kicks. You know, you don't need a Harrison Butker to do that, which makes him so much less valuable, too. So now, do you cut Harrison Butker? Do you say that on kickoffs if you're not going to use him there? Not sure. But we'll talk some rugby football with Kent Swanson, the Welsh rugby player. You know what? When you look at his highlights, you know what you don't see, Dylan? You know what you don't see in his highlights? Well, there's a lot of things probably NFL related you don't see.
A forward pass?
You don't see a hip drop tackle at all. I mean, there it is. So they bring him in to teach guys about it. You know, you guys banned the hip drop tackle last year. Come on in. Let's sign you so you can explain how do you tackle somebody without grabbing them by the waist and then swiveling your body and picking up your body weight and then landing on their legs. How could you possibly get a player down without doing that? Let's go get a rugby guy who had to deal with it. What do you think? Well, I was mainly an offensive guy, and I was running with the football. We'll give you a shot anyway. We'll see what we got anyway. You know, turns out 6'3", 209, you run a 4.4. Is that electronic time? Does that stopwatch? I don't know. But we'll talk some rugby with Kent Swanson. Probably not. We'll at least talk about that. I mean, I do think there's an interest to it, you know. But we'll do that at 11 o'clock. We will hear from J.J. Picollo today. He will be having a press conference. We'll hear from J.J. Picollo, Royals general manager. We'll hear from Matt Quatraro as they are getting set for opening day. And Q talked yesterday at the press conference after Cole Reagan's. And today starts the time where Matt Quatraro will be talking twice a day. Throughout the season. We get you before the game, we get you after the game, Q. And if it's a nationally televised game, going to get you during the game as well. But Matt Quatraro will be talking today. J.J. Picollo, we'll hear from them as it is opening day. And we'll get some sports or leisure in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll still have some NCAA tournament questions And, of course, we will have some opening day questions about the Royals, specific opening day Royals questions. We'll do that. There's a trivia question I will not ask because I don't expect anybody to know the answer to it. I just thought it was sort of interesting. I saw it this morning that
Avery, he'll know it.
Avery will probably know
He'll
it,
know
yes.
it,
If they were on Twitter today, maybe.
Mortals will not know.
Yeah, that's true. Cole Ragans is the second pitcher ever to start opening day after suffering or going through 2 different Tommy John surgeries. He's the second pitcher ever to do that. The other one is a guy who's starting opening day today for the Rangers, and that is Nathan Eovaldi, his former teammate. So today you'll have 2 guys that are the only players ever to start opening day after going through 2 different Tommy John surgeries. Quirky little trivia there. It will not be on Sports or Leisure. We will not ask that one. But I thought that was interesting, and it shows you the path that Cole Ragans has gone on. And it also shows you that, after 1 Tommy John surgery, yeah, it's tough to get back rolling and get to where you were maybe before. After 2, it can be a death sentence to your career. But not always. It doesn't have to be. And Cole Ragans and Nathan Eovaldi, guys that are pitching today on opening day for their respective teams, have both gone through 2 different Tommy John surgeries. Hopefully, you know what, for both their cases, it's the last one they go through, certainly, especially from a selfish, close standpoint, definitely for Cole Ragans. So Sports or Leisure presented by Johnny's Tavern coming up at 1 o'clock. Sterling Holmes will hang out with us in the 1 o'clock hour, and he will have the leisure side. 913-912-4810 is the text line. 913-912-4810 text line. We'll get to your text throughout the show while it is opening day, and we'll talk about opening day here in the first segment. Do want to let everybody know tonight, starting at 6 o'clock, our NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 coverage will be rolling along right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We've got the Clemson and Arizona game. We've got the San Diego State and UConn game. Those are the first games out of the gate tonight. And then, of course, it'll be wrapping up with Alabama, North Carolina, and then the final game tonight, Illinois and Iowa State. Maybe the most intriguing matchup of the night because of the different approaches and the different styles that will be on the floor in the number 1 offense in America in Ken Pom in Illinois against the number 1 defense in America at Ken Pom in Iowa State. 2 very conflicting styles of how they are going to play ball on the court, and we'll see who wins out. Typically, I will go with the offensive side. I'll go with the team that can score. We'll find out. We'll find out tonight. That game, well, I believe tip-off for that game is like 8:45 tonight. 9:09, like I said. 9:09 is when that game gets underway. Clemson and Arizona at 6:09 right here on Sports Radio 810. And then San Diego State, UConn. And we'll see if UConn can keep rolling through the tournament like they did a year ago. San Diego State, a team that they played in the national championship last year. I don't think San Diego State has much for them tonight. We'll find out, though. 913-912-4810, because as we know, it takes one night of just having a bad night. Doesn't mean that you're the better team. It can mean you're the better team on that night. The Raiders were not better than the Chiefs last year. We know that. But on Christmas Day, they were better. They were better than the Chiefs on that day. Chiefs were clearly better as the season went along. I think UConn's the better team, but that will not matter at the end of 40 minutes if San Diego State is the better team tonight. We'll find out. 913-912-4810 is the text line. 913-912-4810 text line to be a part of the show. We will certainly get into a little bit of the matchup and talk some college basketball today as we'll find out who's going to be playing in the Elite Eight on Saturday. And then tomorrow night, of course, we'll have those games for you right here on Sports Radio 810. Again, all the games you can hear on 810. You can hear on ESPN Kansas City. And tomorrow night, NC State, Marquette, Gonzaga, Purdue, Duke, Houston, Creighton, Tennessee. I wish you could take one of those games and make it tonight. Sorry, UConn, San Diego State. Sorry, Clemson, Arizona. But tomorrow night, the final 3 games of the Sweet 16 should be some doozies. Gonzaga, Purdue, Duke, Houston, and Creighton, Tennessee. Should be so much fun coming up tomorrow night. It is opening day in Major League Baseball. It is opening day. We are, man, I am so pumped. I am so pumped for opening day today. I'm going to start off with a quick complaint, though. Opening day, pumped. Why do we got to wait till 2 o'clock to have a game? Why do we got to wait till 3 o'clock Eastern time is the first game today? 2:05 Central time, Angels and Orioles. By the way, the Orioles opening day 2 days after we had the tragedy with the bridge and the Key Bridge there in Baltimore. But Angels and Orioles get things underway today at 2 o'clock. We need a nooner. We need a noon game. We need to be 2 hours away from watching opening day baseball. There are a couple of complaints in Major League Baseball that I have when it comes to afternoon games. Opening day, I wish we could have games earlier in the day. The other one is, I think Major League Baseball should schedule at least one afternoon game every single day. Every single day, there should be at least one afternoon game. To where at 1 o'clock, you could be looking at the scoreboard, watching or whatever, and you know, oh, there's a game on right now at 1 o'clock. Just somewhere. Scheduled across all of the games and all of the days that you play, all the different teams that are going to be playing that particular day. One of them.
I feel like in the past there was. Like, I feel like the Yankees always were the first team at, like, because it's 1 there, 12 here.
Right. It always used to feel like it was early in the day that started. I don't know. Maybe that's how it typically is.
Baseball makes a lot of good decisions.
They do. Yeah. They do. And with it being opening day, it also becomes the anniversary and the yearly tradition of, hey, let me text in 913-912-4810. Hey, how do I watch the Royals this year? It's our yearly tradition of how do I watch the Royals?
There's an on-air way and an off-air way to watch the Royals this season, but Bally Sports package would be the on-air way to watch it, for sure.
So you've got, you can go to the game. A lot of people are going to be going to the game today. That's one way you can watch them. That's one way to check them out. You can have a certain cable or satellite provider that may have a
or
deal.
Other service, yeah.
Or another service, right? I have YouTube TV, so I have had DirecTV in the past, and so I haven't had to worry about it. And then when it came to football season last year, I switched to YouTube TV because I wasn't watching the Royals anymore, so it did not matter not being able to see a Royals game. But this is as exciting of an opening day as I can remember in a while. And there is still a swath of the population that will not be able to watch the game unless they pay the Bally Sports Plus package. MLB TV, VPN, different things that maybe you'll be able to do to work around certain things. I'm not really sure how people do it. I'm not a technology guy, right? I'm not a computer guy. I'm not a technology guy. I just talk for a living. All right, I don't typey away, all right? I'm not good with the algorithms and the hardware and the software, right? No, I don't have the floppy disk, all right? I'll probably just pay the $20 to Bally Sports and watch it that way, So much for saving money on the YouTube TV.
Right.
You're saving money.
Cutting the cable.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, go back to, it's one of the things that I talked about at the time when people were like, oh, no, I want to cut the cord. I'm going to do this. I'm going to save all this money. Okay. Well, then you get your regular provider. And now you got the Disney Plus.
Yep.
Now you got the ESPN Plus.
Netflix.
Now you got the Netflix.
Yeah.
Now you got the Amazon. Now you got the Hulu. Now you got the Apple TV Plus. Now you got Bally Sports Plus if you want to go and check that out. Remember when it was all in one spot?
Yeah.
That was cool, man.
Yeah. One price as well.
That was pretty neat. Mm-hmm. All jumbled together. So, yeah, opening day going on today. Look, there are ways you can watch the game. And there was a tease that took place in the offseason of they are going to be streamed on Amazon Prime. The Royals will not be. They'll be on Bally's. So, yeah. Texas 913-912-4810. And yes, this is something that came to mind when I was talking about being better that night. Texas, you're saying a team can be better that night, but that doesn't make them the better team? Bringing back some Solomon Wilcots flashbacks? A little bit, yes. That's always what comes to mind. Text says, Jason, you're telling me Harry Carey isn't still doing afternoon Cubs games? God, I wish he was. That would be great. 913-912-4810. All right, let's get into Royals and opening day. Look, we'll play some clips this hour from John Sherman in the press conference yesterday. Some of the things about the renderings, the new stadium plans, his press conference yesterday, keeping Oak Street open. We'll discuss how that happens, and how that happens, we'll discuss it. But quick preview, no idea. No clue how that's going to happen. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. When's the last time you've been this excited for opening day? I was thinking about this this morning, and I'm writing things down, and I went through every single position for the Royals, who started opening day last year versus who's starting today, and I want to do this exercise with you, Dylan. Not this second, but I know you're doing some stuff with Drake right now. But I want to do this exercise here in a second of going through every positional starter last year's opening day versus this year's opening day. Did they get better, worse, or stay the same? We can even look at the starting staff, too, the five, starting staff, 5 players there, 5 pitchers there. So that would be 14 different spots that the Royals have. I didn't include DH. Maybe I should, but I did not include DH. Maybe I go back and include DH because, you know what, I'll include DH, too. What the heck? Let's do that. I'll include the DH as well, and the DH last year starting for the Royals was Franmil Reyes. Yeah, let's do DH. I think we're good with DH. I don't think that would skew. I think it would skew one way, but probably in the way that I was kind of thinking it would anyway. But let's do some DH too. You know what? Let's play chess. Let's do that. When's the last time you've been this excited about opening day?
What would it be, 2017? 2016 was like the last season of the 2015 championship team.
Those are the first 2 that came to mind.
Yeah.
First 2 that came to mind. But then I started this morning sort of looking back and thinking of different opening days and conversations around it. I landed on 2016. And this is the most excited I've been since 2016 because, look, the rings, the ceremony, everything, and feeling like you got to the top of the mountain, and it's the first time since that amazing playoff run and being out there at Kauffman that you get to go back out there as well. And 2017 was still sort of the remnants of that, but we were all sort of still reeling from Ace's death. And, that sort of had that sort of a black cloud over it to a degree. And so it brought the excitement level down. And so I think it's 2016. I think it's almost been a decade since there's been this much excitement around opening day. I hope we don't end up like last year, the disaster of the 7-22 start in March and April. I don't think that'll be the case because I think this team is good by evidence of us doing the exercise of going through and looking at the different positions. But I landed on 2016 is the last time I've had this much excitement leading into an opening day.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, that's probably the one I should. Yeah.
No, I mean, you landed on the 2, like 16 and 17
ring
were
ceremony point is perfect.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch all that. And the gold jerseys, everything like that. That was fun.
I would have said 17 as the most recent one you had this excitement, but, with the backdrop of, the passing away of Giordano, that, put a damper on 2017's opening day. So as far as like the expectations of the team and how good they can be, I would say 2017. As far as like the day overall and what today can be and the excitement around it, and the hope springs eternal of, hey, this team can go out there and compete, which is a nice change. Like 16, it's like, can they go out there and win it again? Like, they're good enough to do it. Can they go out there and win it again? And you get to celebrate and just embrace all year long being the reigning World Series champions. Being the reigning World Series champions. Such a great ring to it. And had no idea that, that March of 2016, we were 1 year, 13 months away from the city changing again and drafting Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that opening day of 2016, 13 months later, they draft Patrick Mahomes, and the rest, as they say, is history. Like, what a great couple of years in that 2016. And, of course, 2017 opening day, it was, just a few weeks away from Patrick Mahomes being drafted. But, looking back at the time, it was like, when are we going to experience this ever again? Chiefs, they've got some nice teams, but are they ever going to be good enough to win the Super Bowl? Man, just win some playoff games. Win a home playoff game, man.
And if they wanted, it'd be like one time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the dynasty that it is now.
And it would feel like the Royals a little bit. Hey, they won one. Can they do it again? But we know this is sort of a special group, and this group's probably not going to stay together. So enjoy it while you can. Text says, saw a group of people up here in St. Joe dressed in all Royals blue gear. They were loading the barbecue grill and coolers. Yeah, those days are numbered. What are they talking about, the new stadium or whatever going down there? I think you could still enjoy that. But, again, Royals baseball is not Chiefs football with the tailgating and everything like that. Let's take a timeout, come back. We'll get into the exercise of looking through the starting position players, DH, opening day last year versus opening day today. We'll look at the starting staff and see which positions did the Royals get better, did they get worse, are they even a year ago, and sort of look at it from that perspective, because there are only 7 players of the 26-man roster this year. There are only 7 players returning that were on the opening day roster last year for the Royals. It is a brand new club out there at Kauffman Stadium. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Dylan Michaels. Hey, big shout out to Google Fiber as well, because if you will be streaming the games, as I will be streaming the games, you need that internet provider that is going to offer you the best bandwidth and the ability to have all of the different ways and different TVs that you may have going on and different devices that are running on it as well. Award-winning internet without data caps, annual contracts, or hidden fees. Now available up to 5 gigs and the 1 gig internet, same price since 2012. It is Google Fiber and enough unlimited internet for everyone in your home and all of the devices. And if you're going to be streaming the games with the Royals, if you don't have the cable provider or the satellite provider that has Bally's, then you'll need that internet provider like Google Fiber, which we have. Couple of texts coming in, 913-912-4810. Text says, I think the Royals will win the opener. Will it be enjoyable to watch? I hope so. I got money on Royals winning the opener. That's how excited I am. I'm pumped. All right, go to DraftKings. They're plus 105 there. Right, got a little same-game parlay with Cole Reagan strikeouts and Bobby Witt Jr., a stolen base and a total base, and Royals money line, huh? Let's have a little fun here today out there at the K. Let's do it, man. Let's get started. So, yeah, I certainly hope so. My wallet hopes so. Also at, DraftKings, got a $5 bonus bet just for betting any Major League Baseball game. Boom, $5 bonus bet. See what happens. Tex says, is there a way we can get them on TV through the stadium deal? That's right. Vote yes, and you also will have the Royals available to you locally in the market. Tex says, will the Royals be on Amazon Prime? They will not. That was a tease, at least for the Royals. Tex says, weren't you pumped last year? How'd that work out? Not very well, but I'm pumped every year. But like I said, this is as excited I've been since 2016 for legitimate reasons. And with that, let's go ahead and go through this exercise as to why last year and this year, hopefully, I'm available to have my heart broken. Like last year. Don't cry because it happened. Smile because it was over. Isn't that the saying, right?
Yeah, let me fact check that here, but I think that's correct.
That's the saying for last year to me. Royals 2023. Don't cry because it's over. Oh, don't cry because it happened. Smile because it's over. Now we head into 2024. All right, I don't want to go through the lineup of what we think or who will bat first, second, third. I'm just going to go through the position players and see better, worse, or roughly the same. So here we go. First base, Vinny Pasquantino. Last year, Vinny Pasquantino this year. I could see where it would be an equal, but I'm going to say better. They got better because of a healthy Vinny Pasquantino, and I'm going to take his word for it that he had been battling the injury throughout the first half, and then it just gave way. I'm going to take his word for it. So I'm going to say it's an improvement. But if somebody says the same, I will not argue. Dylan, improvement or the same?
Yeah, I'll go improvement.
Okay.
I agree with you.
All right. Second base, Michael Massey last year, Adam Frazier this year. I'm going to decrease. Because I know what Adam Frazier is, and he's a fine ball player, but he's not going to give you much. But Michael Massey's on the IL. That's why he's not starting at second base today. Again, I'm assuming Adam Frazier is starting at second base and not Nick Lofton. I'm going to go ahead and say Adam Frazier is going to be your second baseman today. But I'm going to say that's a downgrade for game number one, Massey to Frazier. What say you?
I think I'll go same, maybe.
Okay. All right.
I think he'll
maybe
have a similar,
maybe equal, but
maybe equal. Similar
right.
season.
Similar. But again, it's just one day. Hopefully Massey gets back, and maybe it's Nick Lofton at the end of the season. We go, hey, second base was an improvement off last year from even what Michael Massey did. Third base, Hunter Dozier to Maikel Garcia. I think that's a pretty easy improvement, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy improvement. Shortstop, Bobby Witt to Bobby Witt. Same.
Yep.
I'm gonna, same. Bobby Witt last year.
Maybe even better with
Yeah.
the security of a long-term contract.
Right. But what we know about Bobby Witt, if we say feeling going into it, then it's improvement. I'm just talking about the player, though. And we know that Bobby Witt was 7th in MVP voting last year. And he's the 6th betting favorite this year. So I'm going to say that's the same. Salvi at catcher, I'm going to say that's the same, equal. Dylan, you agree? Equal?
Yeah.
All right. This is one that I think could be debatable. Edward Olivares in left field and MJ Melendez in left field. I'm going to have a slight, and this is where I would be accused of being, the ultra positive coming into play instead of just looking at it through how much is in the glass instead of glass half full, glass half empty. I'm gonna lean improvement. I'm gonna lean improvement. And it's a little bit of drinking the Kool-Aid and buying into MJ saying, putting the catcher's gear away and just playing left field, and now he doesn't take the defensive switch to the plate with him, and he can just simply go out and play ball, worry about hitting when he's up there, worry about playing defense when he's out there because he's improved that much in practice. I'm going to lean improvement. But I will not argue one way or another. What do you say, Dylan?
I kind of say equal. And for the other one earlier, I said equal just because I feel like when I'm saying that, it's not going to be such a noticeable difference either way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my point when I say like equal. So I'll say equal on this. Like you won't notice a massive difference on either player.
From Edo to MJ.
Yeah.
Center field, Kyle Isbell, same player. I mean, I'm going to say equal as well. Right field, MJ to Hunter Renfroe. That's got to be improvement. You don't go out and pay Hunter Renfroe if it's not improvement.
Right.
So I'm going that's an improvement.
Agree.
Including DH. This had better be an improvement. Franmil Reyes to Nelson Velasquez.
Yes.
That is an improvement. So I came away with 5 out of the 9 that are improvements, even if there's a slight lean, but 5 out of the 9 that are either slight improvements or a definite improvement. I had 3 that I thought were equals, Bobby Witt, Salvi, and Kyle Isbell, and 1 downgrade being Massey to Frazier. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 increases and 5 equals. So we traded the Massey and Frazier being a downgrade to an equal for you.
You're probably right on that. I'm just saying
We'll see.
Like, it could be a wash.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If it's a wash while Massey's on the IL, then I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a really good sign.
If Nick Lofton takes over and wins the job and Massey comes back and, it's Wally pipped, which I don't think Nick Lofton is that type of player, but then, hey, great too. Let's go through the starting staff. Greinke, opening day starter versus Cole Reagans. It's pretty.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty significant.
Now, sound bites, Greinke. Pitching,
Yes.
Reagans. Yeah.
Yes, we'll hear from Reagans plenty this year. If you haven't heard from Reagans, he's he doesn't elaborate very often, but that's fine. Number 2 starter, and I know that it's not how the weekend lines up. All right, but I'm going with who the best are in this rotation 1 through 5 versus what it was viewed last year. Number 2 starter, Jordan Lyles versus Michael Wacha. That's a massive improvement, right? That's a clear improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Brad Keller to Seth Lugo. Again, I think that's a pretty big improvement.
Yeah.
I'm going to go improvement.
Yep.
Singer to Singer, I'm going equal.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could even say improvement with like less pressure.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
And last year's World Baseball Classic and the talk about how that messed up his spring and it took him a while, his spring training. Scott Sharp yesterday with the Border Patrol said, Brady Singer's spring training was April last year because he didn't pitch with the World Baseball. He threw like 1 inning. Like he would have had multiple starts and multiple innings and multiple work getting done. Instead, the World Baseball Classic being with Team USA, he threw 1 inning. And that threw him off his what would be a regular ramp-up time. And then the 5th starter, Chris Bubich to Alec Marsh. I'm going downgrade here because Bubich was really good until he got injured. So I'm talking about entering the season. I don't know what that 5th starter is going to look like. Is it Alec Marsh? Is it Jordan Lyles? Over the course of the season, what we had, but what Chris Bubich was, and maybe somebody will look at it and go, I want to look at the whole starting, that 5th starter the entire year, and if you get something decent out of Alec Marsh, it's going to be better. But last year, the 5th starter to start the season, Chris Bubich, was really good until, he went down. So I'm going to go downgrade, but I won't argue either way with that one. I'm not, digging my heels in the sand.
I'll agree with you on that.
Downgrade?
I liked Bubic, yeah.
So we agreed on the 3 upgrades, 1 downgrade, and 1 equal.
Yeah.
So I came away with, of the 9 positional players and the DH, that's 10, plus the 5 starters, you like 15 players. I came away with 8 of those being a clear increase out of the 15. 4 of those, well, hold on. Oh, I need 6. Sorry, 6 increases on offense. So 9 of the 15 are improvements. 4 are equals, and 2 downgrades. The downgrades that I have are second base Massey to Frazier, and the 5th starter spot Bubic to Marsh. And honestly, if those are the only 2 downgrades, you're talking about your 5th starter and your second baseman.
Yes, exactly.
As the only 2 downgrades, as opposed to first base, I'm counting on a healthier Vinny. Third base, Dozier to Garcia. Olivares to MJ in left field. Again, I'm leaning towards the positive side. MJ to Renfroe is a pretty easy one. Franmil to Reyes to Nelson Velasquez. That should be an improvement. And then Greinke to Reagans, Lyles to Waka, Keller to Lugo. I mean, your top 3 starters and 5, 6 of your guys in your lineup are upgrades. It's massive. And that's where I look at this year as, the excitement being since 2016. And by the way, there's nobody in the bullpen from last year's opening day to this year's opening day. The only person on the roster for the Royals this year that's in their bullpen is Jordan Lyles. He was a starter last year. He's the only guy. Every other bullpen piece is different. They revamped their entire bullpen. They revamped their starting staff. 4 new starters from a year ago. And obviously going out and adding some pieces on offense. This would be a much bigger disappointment. This would be as big of a disappointment in the last number of years if they started off rough. If they didn't come out and show that they were competitive. And even if it's, hey, they dropped 2 of 3 to the Twins. Okay, did they lose 4-3? Did they lose 2-1? Did they lose, 6-5? Did they win a game 8-3? What was the rubber match on Sunday? If they lose 2 of 3. Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily make it a rubber match. They could lose the first 2 and win Sunday, but you get the point. What's the one win? When we're back here talking on Monday, what's the opening weekend look like? And we're talking tomorrow, opening day. It's always viewed as more than one game. It's one game, but it's always viewed as bigger. There's so much more to take away from that one 9-inning game that could go either way. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk with Ken Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock, some Chiefs football. I want to hear from John Sherman on the other side of the break, some things that he talked about at yesterday's press conference. We'll hear from J.J. Piccolo. He will have a press conference today. We'll hear from Matt Quatrero as well. We will play some sports or leisure today. More Zone right after this. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Kent Swanson coming up at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. I do want to play at least one clip from yesterday, and so let's just play this clip real quick. Let's just play clip number one here from John Sherman. It's not that long of a clip, but it is something that we'll talk about and something that I am incredibly curious and fascinated by. The changes to the ballpark involving Oak Street, as John Sherman talked about yesterday.
There'll be discussion on the other side of April 2nd about that whole development. And basically, what we said today is that we will keep Oak Street open. There'll be a series of discussions with the city council, and the businesses in the area as to how that will play out, after April 2nd.
Look, we're going to keep Oak Street open. We'll discuss that after April 2nd as to how we're going to do that. Right, but how are you going to do that? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Well, your renderings, Oak Street is the warning track in right field, right? Like, you're just going to leave Oak Street open. That's one hell of a dimension for a baseball field. That Oak Street actually will go right through right field to right center. Imagine trying to go and get a ball into right and then having to wait for traffic to finally get the ball that bounced over Oak and then running and getting it. A lot of inside the park home runs if you're going to do that with Oak Street just running right through right field. Can't wait to see how they do it.
GuaranteedFoods.com.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. We will talk some Royals baseball coming up in the noon hour as we'll hear from J.J. Piccolo. He will talk today, press conference getting ready for opening day. And we'll hear from Matt Quatrero as well. We got Sports or Leisure, 1 o'clock. Sterling Holmes will hang out with us. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. Right now, let's talk some Chiefs football, some NFL football. Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast, KC Sports Network's Kent Swanson. Kent, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. A happy opening day to both of you. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, I am pumped as well. We'll get your Royals prediction and wins at the end of the segment here, just to see where you're at and your feel on this particular Royals team. But let's talk some rugby. Want to do that? Let's discuss some rugby, some mainly rugby that's played, I don't know, in Wales. If I'm just throwing spitballing here, just throwing a dart. But the Royals, the Chiefs sign Luis Rees-Zammit, 6'3", 209, a 4.43 40. Kent, all jokes aside, we had a joke with it, and then we had a serious, commentary in the first segment as well. But what do you think of this signing? He had multiple workouts with teams, and he decided after the workout with the Chiefs signed him.
Yeah, I think it's a fun story. I think it's, I don't have a ton of high expectations for him as a player. Like if you look at his athletic profile, obviously the 40 time stands out. But if you look at some of the other metrics around his profile, it kind of is pretty average, 29-inch vertical. So, that's not particularly great. But I think it's interesting to get him into the building. I think it's interesting to have a rugby-style player have to maybe help teach some of these guys how to tackle a little bit. And we'll see what happens. But I don't have a ton of optimism that this is going to be a big needle mover from I don't know if it's going to work out great as far as, him making the 53-man roster, but I am at least interested. It'll be fun. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And if he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. Text came in earlier and said, well, if he can just get there and teach people how to tackle without the hip drop, hey, great. Because rugby banned hip drop tackle last year. So, he's been dealing with it, Kent. That's the secret weapon. They banned the hip drop tackle. Now the Chiefs go and sign a rugby player. Come on. I mean, what other connection is there?
They have a tackling consultant there for the entirety of the season at minimum. I mean, and this is that might be the best value that he provides. But don't get me wrong, I'm still excited to see what happens. But I'm not overly optimistic that we're gonna see him play a role in Kansas City this year.
I'm with you on that. We know who will not play a role in Kansas City this year is L'Jarius Sneed. Kent, just curious your reaction. It came out on Saturday. And the last time we talked, we were discussing the possibility of what the options are for L'Jarius, and traded for a third rounder in 2025 and exchanging 7th round picks. What do you think of the compensation and the Chiefs' decision to move on from Sneed and also create the cap space and open that up?
So we did a live reaction show on KC Sports Network, breaking news team head up by Tucker D. Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think L'Jarius Sneed was ever actually in the plans for the Chiefs in 2024. That's what I think. And I think all the signs that we've seen from the last month point exactly to that. They go out very quickly to announce that they are allowing L'Jarius Sneed to go out and seek a trade. They are doing it at the NFL Combine. They are trying to give themselves ample time to get L'Jarius Sneed in a situation where he's going to get paid and the Chiefs can get some level of compensation. So I think they've been going, I think they've always been very intent on just trying to move on from him, but trying to get assets maybe better than a potential for a compensatory pick. And, maybe just kind of, ensuring that they're going to get some draft capital removed from having to navigate that formula period. And so from that lens, like if you look at how they've operated, I know they've said, yeah, maybe he'll play on the tag. with what I mean, if he plays on the tags, this team has to restructure a Joe Tooney or restructure a Jawan Taylor to give themselves any ability to make any moves beyond Hollywood Brown. So I don't think any of the actions that they showed really indicated that they were ever going to keep L'Jarius Sneed. I think they wanted to move on from him. They wanted to do right by him and get him a good deal, but they also wanted to find a way to receive some compensation. So from that lens, they did fine on the compensation side. I'm not excited about it, but if you were never really going to be keeping L'Jarius Sneed, which I still don't believe was the case, then you got more compensation than you would have if you had tried to play the compensatory formula game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And even if you've got if you played the compensatory formula game, it was between the third and the fourth round. So no matter, even if the Titans win the Super Bowl, it's still a better third round pick than what you would have got as a comp pick for L'Jarius Sneed. So I like it as well. They've opened up some space, and we talked with your colleague Craig Stout, and he had a great write up on the historical precedent of trading cornerbacks and what is realistic. And the conclusion I took from that is a second rounder probably isn't all that realistic. It'd be amazing if they got a second rounder, but it felt like, Kent, to get a second rounder, they needed a bidding war, right? If they were going to get that, if they were going to get top end of the market for L'Jarius Sneed, they needed a couple of teams that felt like he's the final piece and will do what it takes to get this guy. Like, Rasul Douglas got a third and a fifth last year, because it was in the middle of the season, and it was, we've got all these injuries, we got to keep this thing together. Hey, Buffalo, we got a chance to do something here. Let's go out, and it's okay to do this. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Offseason a little bit different, but they needed a bidding war if they really would have got the second rounder, right?
Yes, and I mean, even if you look at the context of a Rasul Douglas, the Bills were getting good value in trading for a Rasul Douglas because the contract responsibilities for the Bills was going to be relatively light.
Great.
And so that's taken into consideration too. Same with, like we talk about Carlton Davis. It's the same kind of thing. Like people are talking about the compensation for Carlton Davis and how the Chiefs weren't able to get that for him. Well, it's the same thing because because Tampa has, paid out some signing bonuses. It's going to be an effective contract for the Detroit Lions. So, I think you have to look at it, with all those pieces of context. Also, I think we have these unrealistic expectations. Like, it's a great point with what Craig wrote about, and it all played out. But the Chiefs have been involved in 3 of the last 7 tag-in trades in the National Football League since 2019. So I think we have this unrealistic perception of what happens in these. Yeah. And the Chiefs were also one of the last teams to really pay out a significant, draft capital in one of these tag and trade situations too, with the Frank Clark situation. I mean, they paid for Frank Clark. So, taking all those things into consideration, I don't know. Maybe we had some unrealistic expectations across the board. And yeah, it was a little bit underwhelming that it's, a future asset, but I think it means that Brett Veach has a chance to be aggressive here in the next couple of years.
I agree with that as well. And I think, it also goes back, I compared a little bit to a Major League Baseball farm system that, other teams don't value your prospects the way that you do. And the way that, we would look at L'Jarius Sneed and what he means. And it's like, there's no way you can give up and get less than a second rounder for what L'Jarius Sneed does and look how he is. And then the market says, no, because of the contract obligation, as you put it. It's a great way to phrase it, with the contract obligation for the Bills and Rasul Douglas and the contract obligation with Carlton Davis versus the contract obligation with L'Jarius Sneed. And we know, being, one of the top annual average value cornerbacks and the 4th highest in guaranteed money of cornerbacks in NFL history is L'Jarius Sneed now. Which, by the way, is a quick aside. L'Jarius Sneed at that price, I wouldn't be in favor of the Chiefs doing it. Even if somebody was like, hey, sign L'Jarius Sneed to a long-term deal. If that was the market, I'm sorry, I'm out. I don't need to be paying him as a 30-year-old still a pretty decent amount and a sizable chunk against the cap. Some $20 million, mid-20s against the cap as a 30-year-old cornerback that already as a 27-year-old has some knee issues. No, thank you, I'm out.
Well, and I think you need to trust that the Chiefs, know what they're doing. They know the L'Jarius Sneed situation better than anybody in the NFL. And I think if you operate under the opinion that the Chiefs were never going to pay L'Jarius Sneed, then they probably have reason to not. and that reason probably is tied to the medical and the risk for the medical. On top of, I think you're about to see, I know the Chiefs just got done paying a defensive tackle over the age of 30. So, I know this is going to sound, a little bit counter to what I'm about to say, but I think there is a wave of players that the Chiefs really do want to sign and extend, and it's those players that they drafted at ages of 21 and 22. This team seems to really value age as a significant benchmark in their decision-making process. Obviously, they make some exceptions to blue chips like a Chris Jones. If they feel they're getting a Hall of Famer like a Mike Evans, maybe they'll make an exception. But I think this wave of players that are going to be 24 and 25 on their second deal with the Chiefs are the ones that they really want to pay deep down. And so, I think making sure that they can be flexible to do those rather than pay a L'Jarius Sneed, knowing his injury history and all that, I think that tells you what you need to know.
Who do you Ken Swanson's our guest. Then who would you prioritize if it's, okay, let's look at some of these guys that are, coming up free agents going into the last year of their rookie deals. Who do you prioritize? The three names that have been thrown out there, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, maybe it's that order, but who are you prioritizing to, and maybe it's somebody else, to extend if you're the Chiefs and you got this money and it's a strategy and an avenue you want to go down?
So I would prioritize Creed Humphrey first and foremost. I think that's the guy that I would be most intent on keeping. I think he's been a very, very good player. I know people are frustrated with the snaps, but there's also some reports coming out that maybe he was playing with an injured hand for a large chunk of the season. I think he's the guy I would pay first. I know the Chiefs, I'm very confident the Chiefs will pay Nick Bolton. I'd extend Nick Bolton to an extent. I'm curious what the dollar amount ultimately is. I'd feel comfortable, extending Nick Bolton because there's a weird shortage at linebacker in the National Football League. The position is a little bit, I don't want to say in crisis, but it's just kind of a position that's continually got, devalued, and there's not a ton of good linebackers in the NFL. So, I don't want to pay Nick Bolton Roquan Smith money because I think that would be a big mistake. But, a Matt Milano type contract for a Nick Bolton, I think that's a deal I'd try to do to extend Nick Bolton.
Yeah, and we'll see what maybe his expectation is of what he'll get on the open market as opposed to signing an extension. I'm with you on Creed Humphrey, and the Creed Humphrey thing is interesting, and maybe he was playing with an injured hand, and hey, if that's the case, then get those snaps figured out. The Chiefs have not gone the route of paying for a center. They have Rodney Hudson and they move on. They draft Mitch Morse and they move on. Austin Ryder for a couple of years to fill the gap, they move on. Creed Humphrey, and I wonder if they go down the route of Creed Humphrey, and maybe this would put a sour taste in Creed Humphrey and his representative's mouth, but if you go down the route of Creed Humphrey and you extend him right now, and let's say you pay him top of the market center money and you give him $15 million annual average value, I mean, open to moving him to guard at that point and drafting another center because $15 million might be the highest paid center. It's the 12th highest paid guard in today's market. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you're paying Creed Humphrey, extending him as a center, and maybe the plan is in a couple of years you slide him over to guard and you draft a new center and you go the same route the Chiefs have gone in just drafting different centers and finding other guys to sort of fill that role? Or do you think this is the Brett Veach never they don't spend resources on cornerbacks. This is not what they do, and then they spend a first rounder. Is it like that to where the situations and circumstances dictated them moving on from Hudson and Mitch Morse and Austin Ryder to Creed Humphrey, and they'll stay with Creed as a center moving forward and pay him?
So a couple things here. With regard to moving Creed Humphrey to guard, I don't think there's a guarantee that Creed Humphrey is as good of a guard as he is a center. And I know that sounds crazy to say. It's an interior offensive lineman. We clump these guys in together all the time. I'm not going to overreact to what Creed Humphrey did when he was playing guard in Week 18 of the season, but it did not look nearly as comfortable as he does at center.
Yeah.
There are some players along the interior that do better with the ball in their hand. and they are able, their ability to anticipate the snap, use that initial quickness to help create good body positioning for themselves. Some guys do need to have the ball in their hand to be the best version of themselves. I'm not sure Creed Humphrey's not one of those. Now, in regard to what the Chiefs have done at the center position in the recent memory, I think the thing that we have to take into consideration are two things. The Chiefs don't want to get caught in the situation with their offensive line not having enough resources, not having enough quality depth and enough quality players. So they've been very intentional about building that offensive line, maintaining a good offensive line. The Chiefs are potentially at a situation in 2025 where their entire interior of their offensive line is gone. Mm-hmm. And we don't really know what the tackle situation is going to be yet for them in 2025 either. Really right now, the only player that is guaranteed to be there would be a Jawan Taylor. So I just think with the amount of influx that this team is going to have on their offensive line in 2025, one, you've got to prioritize it now in the draft in 2024, be it a tackle, be it a guard, honestly, in the top 100 picks. But you've probably got to at least make sure you're keeping one of those players. And, if you draft a left tackle cheap, you have a little bit more flexibility when you look at the roster construction, the contract table for the entirety of your offensive line. You've got some flexibility because you're paying your left tackle cheap.
Yeah, I do wonder too, that it's always looking ahead, right? Always trying to figure out what the next year is going to look like and the next year is going to look like. And if you're, coming into a final year of, a Trey Smith and a Creed Humphrey, which is crazy to think about already, that's what's going on with this Chiefs team. If your plan is to extend Creed Humphrey and maybe even Nick Bolton with the price of guards now, should the Chiefs be open to, if on draft day somebody calls and would like Trey Smith? It sounds like, blasphemous because of how good he is and how much he's liked. But with the price of guards now, should they be willing to be open to trading Trey Smith on a draft night or before if he's somebody that they feel like they won't be able to extend anyway? And with the price of guards, they can't be paying two guards and a center that much money and a right tackle as well, depending on how they replenish it. Do you think they'd be open to that? And is that part of the strategy or smart strategy to be ahead of the game instead of letting Trey Smith walk at the end of this year?
I think the guard market's a little bit inflated, and I saw someone say that, and I think this is a great point, and I think it ties to some of the running back conversation, contracts we saw and some of the, some of the interior offensive line. Those guys, the reason they got paid is because those are the players and the potential blue chip players that are actually hitting the open market, right? So there is a market of teams willing to pay big money to guards, and it's the teams that have a lot of cap space that they need to use, and they're looking at quality blue chip players that are actually hitting the market and available, just happen to be the interior offensive line. And that's why Robert Hunt got a 5-year, $100 million contract. I think it's a little bit of an inflated market in a weird market where teams aren't valuing the position, but there are teams still willing to pay for the position when they have the opportunity to, because they're just trying to stack blue chip players on their roster. So I don't think Trey Smith is getting you more than an early day 3 pick. And I think Trey Smith is worth more to the Chiefs in 2024 than an early day 3 pick. You could make the argument, that maybe maybe they could draft a capable guard in the 4th round. But I think I'd rather just the team continue to maintain that continuity on the offensive line, especially if they are trying to break in a new tackle. If you've got 4 experienced offensive linemen set up, good chemistry, and you're just integrating Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU, who gets picked 32nd by the Chiefs, then you're in a good spot to help support that left tackle and have a good offensive line protecting Patrick Mahomes. I don't think I'd want to play with it.
Yeah. Kinswell, and I'm not saying to do that either. I just, they're in a position now where they're looking at L'Jarius, and I'm glad they didn't trade L'Jarius Sneed last year because we might not be talking about another Super Bowl. We probably aren't talking about another Super Bowl for the Chiefs if they were working a year ahead every time. But, of course, shutdown corner and guard being, a different beast, a different animal. This is Ken Swanson's our guest. The cap space that they have, $20-some-odd million. They've got to give some of that to the draft class. They got to keep the lights on when the season starts, so they got to have money left over there. But If they go and spend money that is not extending some of these players, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Hollywood the only new free agent that they've brought in instead, as opposed to just re-signing everybody else? The other moves they've made have just been Turk and Nadi, and Tranquil and Deion Bush. Bringing in Hollywood Brown. Is there another free agent that I'm missing that they brought in? And will they look more to that, or will it be Mike Dana, Donovan Smith that they'll go out and bring back and be a part of the quote free agent class?
Yeah, I don't think that they've made any major additions outside. I think it is Hollywood Brown. I'm trying to remember.
Me too. Everything else has been re-signing guys.
I think it's largely keeping the band together. I think there's still positions that the Chiefs could address that make some sense. I think they could go out. I think a veteran running back makes a lot of sense. I think a veteran defensive lineman somewhere on there, an edge makes some sense. Even adding another receiver, like the pickings are getting slim, but I could see them going in and adding another receiver too. So. And then you got to figure the left tackle situation out. Yeah. Donovan Smith, is that the guy that they ultimately just go back to? They go back to the well there. They're kind of holding off on that until after the draft. Mike Dana is are they bringing they bringing some of those guys back? I still think there's moves that this team needs to make to solidify their roster, and maybe it is just kind of keeping the band together and losing a few of the pieces from 2024 or 2023, and then hoping to get better from Hollywood Brown in the draft. But I don't think this roster is complete. They still need to add veterans at a couple of those key positions to help them kind of finalize the finishing touches on this roster.
Irv Smith, there it is.
Oh man, how can you?
How do you forget? How can we forget Irv Smith? Yeah, but it is interesting. Those are the two, Hollywood Brown and Irv Smith. Those are the two free agent acquisitions that they signed, not re-signed, right? Or franchise tagged, but then ultimately traded, as we know, with L'Jarius Sneed. But yeah, Irv Smith and Hollywood Brown. I'm guessing they'll have to go and find other players to come in that were on different teams, but. We'll find out. Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast. What do you think of the new kickoff rule, and does it benefit the Chiefs? Does it hurt the Chiefs? I know Dave Tobe is already in the laboratory and is pumped about it, and he was on the Buddy Listen podcast with Anthony Sherman and Garrick Dieter that hasn't been released yet, so I'm looking forward to listening to Dave Tobe. Tried to get Dave Tobe on the show, but that's fine. But apparently he's already in the laboratory. What do you think of the kickoff rule?
I mean, I don't have super strong opinions on it.
What?
I know, right? I do have opinions though. I just I'm not gonna be too entrenched in them, I guess is the best way I can say it. Is I don't know. I don't love it just because that's another variable that gets introduced. It's a big change in how things operate, and I don't know if I really want anything that kind of takes away, not that it takes the value of Patrick Mahomes away at all or anything like that, but I don't want a variable related to to helping potentially level the playing field with a return for a touchdown getting in the way of how the game is operating. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. The rest of the National Football League doesn't. This rule could potentially create some more variability in the return game, a situation where points can be scored really without Patrick Mahomes' impact being felt whatsoever in a play. And I just, I think if you're sitting here as the Chief, I know Dave Tobe's excited about it because job security, I guess, hey, now we have to really scheme some things up. This gets even more important and all that stuff. But man, I don't really want to try to value special teams more, in a world where Patrick Mahomes is my quarterback and the rest of the league doesn't have him.
I threw out a name yesterday. See what you think. Cordell Patterson was signed by the Steelers. That's a running back. The Chiefs certainly could use a running back. I would love the Chiefs to go out and sign Jamal Agnew. They can throw him into the wide receiver room. They can use him as a gadget player if need be, but If kickoffs are going to be that big a part of the game moving forward, then you've added a value to it. And go out and get a guy that's averaged, 26 yards per kickoff return the last couple of years for Jacksonville, one of the best out there, and also can fill in and fit in your wide receiver room. And if you want to have a guy run some gadget plays and things like that they wanted from Kadarius Toney or whoever, then he can fill that role. I don't know how much it would cost, but I'm in favor of the Chiefs going out and getting Jamal Agnew if we're serious about the kickoff rule being a big deal now.
There's also a Deontay Hardy out there.
Yeah, yep, that would work.
Played at Buffalo.
Played in Buffalo.
Yep. Hey, this is where our rugby, our Louis Reese Zamet could get involved. Laviska Shenault with being a big, dense, powerful guy.
Yeah, true.
Maybe there's a role. Hey, there's a few guys out here that let's revitalize Jakeem Grant's career.
Yeah.
There's a few of these return guys. So now we've just placed an increased value in the return game.
Yeah.
Another variable that doesn't involve Patrick Mahomes. That's all.
Yeah. No, it's
but
absolutely true.
There's fun players.
It's
fun
absolutely true. Dave Toub, by the way, even though it's not released yet, Garrigan and Sherm said that Dave Toub is already thinking of ways to not have Butker on the field, that have somebody else kicking it and then going out and fielding it, because you don't need to just boot it through the end zone now. In fact, it's disadvantageous to kick it through the end zone. So have somebody else that can just get it to the 20 and then go down and cover, or different spin on the ball or whatever. Those are the things he's looking at. So it may not be Harrison Butker kicking off anymore for the Chiefs. We'll just see how many different strategies go into this whole thing. So we'll find out. But Deontay Hardy's not a bad name either to bring in if you're looking at this being an increased. I don't know. I don't get excited by it. It's like, Kadarius Toney's on the field now. Yeah, sweet.
Yay.
All right.
I don't know if we're gonna have that problem, Jason.
Yeah. I'm okay with not having that problem. I'll be honest with you. Or he'll just be he'll be injured. He'll have that hip problem that'll go into week 1 and week 2 and week 3, and we can see some more IG Live updates from Kadarius. Kent Swanson, tell everybody how to get the draft guide. What are we, a week away from this thing coming out?
So, yeah, a little bit over a week away from the draft guide releasing. It's a very exciting time for us here at KC Sports Network. We have 300-plus pages of Chiefs-specific draft content. You got 225 more than 225 write-ups on prospects and how they fit the Chiefs specifically. This is a book entirely devoted to the NFL draft in the lens of the Kansas City Chiefs. And you can go find links to that on my social at Kent_Swanson. If you want to go to gum.co/KCSN24, that will get you a link to the guide as well. You get 3 months of KCSN Substack for free when you purchase or pre-order the book. So. Nice. You get to all the breakdowns of any of the eventual Chiefs signings. And whenever they draft all these players, we're going to have breakdowns of those players on the KCSN Substack as well. So
I love it. It's one of the main resources that I use for the draft is the draft guide. Last one, what are the Royals' record this year? What are they?
79-83.
79. I love it. 79-83. There we go. Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast, and the Breaking News team, and KC Sports Network. Kent, you're the man. Appreciate it as always, brother. Looking forward to the draft guide coming out next week.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
Absolutely, man. I bet you can't. There's Kent Swanson. The hours that are probably put in, not probably, that we know the hours that are put in to produce that draft guide is unbelievable. There are 2 resources that I use for the draft. It is the KCSN draft guide is the first one I go to, and then the Beast at The Athletic that I go to as well. Those are the 2. And I'll tell you that if the KCSN guys say, well, you're using ours along with the Beast, that would be a compliment to them, because that's how much I trust and respect the guys there and the write-ups and everything. And again, the Beast is just overall the draft guide. The draft guide at KCSN has a specific Chiefs slant to it in the this is how the player fits with the Chiefs. What Steve Spagnuolo wants, what Joe Cullen wants, what Andy Reid wants, what Andy Heck wants, what the wide receivers are like, what Brett Veach typically has, how Dave Merritt coaches, those specific traits of the Chiefs, what they would be looking for, and how it fits in, along with an overall write-up of pros and cons and overviews and things like that. And they have their rankings of, what they think, these players, what the ranking, what they are. So it's a really cool deal, the draft guide. And how about that? If you are not already a subscriber to the Substack for KCSN, you get 3 months free with the draft guide. It is a fantastic resource. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling, and we'll hear from John Sherman talking about some of the changes to the stadium roughly 5 days before the vote. We'll take a timeout, come back, more Zone next. Dylan Michaels. Thank you to Kent Swanson joining us, talking some Kansas City Chiefs. I was looking through the 8-10 bracket challenge. Just sort of looking at the leaders and the group, the zone group. And I know my bracket sucks. And I let people know that last place was already occupied. If you were joining the zone group, do not think about finishing in last place, because I already got that, okay? Do not even think about that. I'm not in last place. I was just joking. You idiots think that I'm in last place? Of course not. I'm not in last place. I am in 374th place, you idiots. Out of 398. Take that! Y'all thought I was going to be in last. You fools. Idiots. In the overall big challenge, and it sucks because I went and checked with HR. We are eligible for all the prizes. Now, I just realized that. Now I would have totally put a good bracket in there. Maybe we aren't. I'm not sure. The overall bracket challenge, I am in place 4,317th. Just an hour. Just in the 8-10 bracket challenge. That's not like, hey, at ESPN, I 4,000. No, at ESPN, I'm probably like, 7 million deep. 4,317 is my rank. My son's rank is in the 1,500s.
That's better than me. I'm 2,800.
2,800? So
5 to be exact. So
my son's ranked 1,532nd. There have been, 48 games that have been played? I got 27 correct. I didn't go chalk. I went upsets.
See, I did, and I only have 3 more correct. So there's no way to.
You just got to go right chalk,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I went upsets. I just didn't go right upsets. I've already lost 2 Final Four teams, so it ain't going to get better, moving forward. The Sweet 16 games, I can win both games in the East, so I can get those right. I can get the South Sweet 16 game with Houston right, but I've got Kentucky beating Marquette. That's not going to happen. Kentucky will not beat Marquette. I guarantee it tomorrow night. 0 chance of that happening. I've got Purdue beating Samford and Tennessee beating Creighton. So I can do – I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 of my Elite 8 left, baby, and my national championship winner. I'm right back in this. I am not right back in this at all. But we'll have the basketball for you right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, as we do each and every year. College basketball and the NCAA tournament presented by Xfinity, Greenlight Dispensary, Hollywood Casino, and Trailside RV. Should let you know the bracket contest brought to you by Mr. Davis, Dewey's Pizza, Truity Credit Union, and Green Grass Cattle Company. So in the previous hour, we played the clip from John Sherman in talking about Oak Street and wanting that to still be open, and they will figure out a way to keep Oak Street open. John Sherman was asked, how does leaving Oak open change the design plan for the ballpark?
It doesn't really change much about the stadium. That's simply about keeping Oak Street open. If we listen to the community, we listen to the mayor, the city council, certainly the people in the Crossroads Community Association, and it became clear to us that that was important that stay open as a north-south artery. It's a key part of the neighborhood, both for car traffic, pedestrian, and bicycles. So we basically just agreed that would stay open. It does not really modify much of our stadium. Won't change anything about fixed seating, attendance. It's just that it keeps that artery open where it would have been closed, to locusts.
I am fascinated to see how the renderings in the stadium, as it is currently set up to look downtown between Grand and Locust, between 15th and 17th, that swath of area is where the stadium and the ballpark district, entertainment district, yes, no, ballpark district, whatever. We'll get into the entertainment district thing in the Crossroads location. But if you haven't seen the renderings, picture Oak Street running north-south through right field. It's like these southbound lanes of Oak Street are in the grass. The northbound lanes of Oak Street is the warning track in right field. I'm not sure how that doesn't change, unless you're going to take every seat away from right field. Is it going to be like San Francisco, where you have this huge wall and you have a place where people can stand and watch the game, and then over that is hitting the ball onto Oak Street, or hitting the ball and hitting like a hotel across Oak Street or whatever, just crushing it, that people aren't out there in canoes. They're just out there hanging out like, at Waveland and trying to catch a ball at Fenway. Just have a huge green monster, call it the blue monster, in right field. And people can walk up there, and then you're hitting it onto Oak. They should build a factory just for tandem yards.
I hope people are in canoes on Oak Street, just in their canoes, paddling on the sidewalk.
With wheels underneath it.
Yes,
A canoe with wheels and not floating. Or create a moat. There you go. Create a moat and a walking bridge that, you got to have tickets to get over the moat. Sharks in there, and piranhas and eels and leeches and stuff. You can't just swim across the moat. And therefore you could have a canoe. There, I love the people that are putting the polo grounds downtown, just having a horseshoe stadium. It's like, right field down the line in right field is going to be 150 down the line in right field, and it's just going to be a triangle. It's going to be like an over-exaggerated Fenway where the triangle goes to center field, and it just runs along the path of Oak. I mean, because again, the stands are on the east side of Oak in the rendering. If you go to, I'll probably do this before they break ground, go to a 16th and McGee, where it sort of meets, where that sort of the northeast part of that church parking lot, that's where home plate's going to be. So go there, take some pictures, and then you'll be like, oh, before and after. Here's home plate, and now I can't stand on home plate. But that's where right around there is going to be. It doesn't have to be exact. Of course, that's where it was going to be. I don't know. Where is it going to be now? Because apparently Oak Street is going to be a vital vein in the north-south, connection of the Crossroads and north of the
artery.
South Loop. The artery, thank you. What did I say, a vein?
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not just there. Locust is a vein.
Yeah, there you go.
This is an artery, damn it. McGee is just being closed up. That's just tying it off. Side note,
it's actually a great way to describe major and minor streets. I did like that.
No, I loved it, actually. I just got it wrong. It's an artery is Oak, and I just like where I lived before I moved to Louisville, where I live downtown, is roughly the entrance of what would be, directly from first base south. So if you go from the first base bag south, it's the buildings that are right across the street from 17th Street. So in the renderings, there are buildings right across the street from 17th Street that are still there. That's where I lived, right there. That would have been great. Parking would have been tough on game days for me there.
Ding, ding.
But, boy, still live there. Be great. Imagine the property value for, the landlord, damn it. Not for me. I don't know. Are they still going to have places to live there? I don't know. There's a lot of displacement going on. But I just, the design plan won't change. I bet it will. I'll take the over on yes or no on that one. John Sherman was then asked about the impact on the businesses on the east side of Oak Street. If now Oak is open and, you had the renderings that went all the way to Locust, so what about the businesses now on the east side of Oak?
There'll be discussion on the other side of April 2nd about that whole development. And basically, what we said today is that we will keep Oak Street open. There'll be a series of discussions with the city council, and the businesses in the area as to how that will play out, after April 2nd.
We'll get to it. We'll figure it out. It's a lot of it. We'll get around to it after April 2nd. You guys vote for this. We got it.
Then you get to see what's in the bill.
You guys vote for this. We got it. We'll see. Here's John Sherman on the latest on the entertainment district with the Crossroads location.
I don't think it changes. A lot of that'll be discussed after April 2nd. With the city and the neighborhood. We're going to have when people say entertainment, I think that district will be light on entertainment. Power and Light's right north of us there. I think that the entertainment component, it's going to organically happen around the stadium. When I talk to the people in the Crossroads, there's some breweries and there's some places, just south of the stadium, which will become, I think their businesses will boom, and they'll be part of that neighborhood. Like I'm not saying it's like the Cubby Bear or Murphy's Bleachers in Wrigley, but I think there'll be an organic entertainment district that will evolve, and then we'll be focused on certainly a hotel, residential, that type of thing in conjunction with the stadium.
You still anticipate $1 billion private investment in that area?
We do. We think there'll be $1 billion investment, I would say minimum. And we'll continue, as time goes on, we'll continue to want to acquire around the ballpark like you see in a lot of areas. And I would think it would happen in more than one phase.
To be clear, so you're still saying your hotel and offices would be there, they just would be on the other side of Oak, and Oak would stay open?
Oak would stay open.
Oak would stay open. So home runs into the street like that, I mean, is that kind of the deal? Or would you have a...
Hadn't really thought about the trajectory to get one over there, but yeah, I guess so. It might break a window in the hotel. I don't know. I mean, the idea would be to have a hotel where next to the stadium, almost part of the stadium, and there'd be a walkway that where people that were in the hotel either staying there or eating or could walk a crossway onto the concourse of the stadium.
Yeah, if there's a hotel just on the other side of Oak Street, that would be where the stands are currently in the renderings. So I haven't really thought about the trajectory to get it to Oak Street. Yeah, it's called a can of corn to right field. That's the trajectory to get it to Oak Street. It's called Renfro doesn't even have to move. There's a drive into right field. Renfro camps under it and out number one. There's a drive into right field. Pops up Renfro and gone. Sorry. Drive into right field. Pasquantino really got a hold of this one. And it is gone. 225 right field. Massive shot by Vinny Pasquantino. Hits a pop-up. That lands on the west side of Oak.
It's like if Pesky's pole was the entire right field, basically.
I'm fascinated. Honestly, like I'm having fun with it, but it could actually be kind of cool. Like it could be a part of the ballpark, like a dimension of the ballpark.
The Astros had a light post in center field, so who's to say we can't have Oak Street?
Until they were like, maybe we take the flagpole out.
Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe we don't do that. Yeah. Old Tiger Stadium had the overhang in the upper deck where it was going to come down in play, but all of a sudden it's a home run because the overhead caught it. Right. It could be a really cool dimension in right field. Like I said, like San Francisco, you have that huge wall out there and then you hit it into the bay. It's not, water, but, you got Waveland and you got some cool stuff like that. And if the hotels are on the opposite side of Oak, like, again, the east side of Oak would just be a regular home run into right field.
Right. And I made a joke about Fenway. I mean, Yankee Stadium is damn near that. I mean, it's like a 300-foot.
Yankee Stadium is a bigger Little League stadium.
Right field,
it's just, Yankee Stadium is where I think they're going to hold a Little League World Series moving forward.
Right.
Ping. And gone. Johnny.
Again.
And gone, Jackson. And gone, Noah.
They'll be using wood bats going forward if that was the case.
And gone, Aiden. Just going to pick up names from my son's baseball team. It's the regular names. And gone, Everett. We need to take these Little League ballparks and bring those fences in into right field with him being a lefty. Let's do it. Hey, you know what? Could be the house that Vinny Pasquantino built.
Yeah.
The house that Vinny built, 225 right field. Go ahead, Vinny. Go ahead and put that out there. Therefore, you get all lefties. Get Cole Reagans out there, get those lefties.
Yep.
Make everybody go to the 405 to left field. Bobby Witt's like, really? 405 down the line left field? Are you kidding me? Well, we actually wanted to hit T-Mobile. We wanted it to the wall wanted to rub right up against T-Mobile. Okay, we're gonna go across the south loop. It's closed down anyway, or it's we got the top on it. All right, so we'll go right across the south loop. And if you get a hold of this one, Bobby, you know you're gonna earn it.
Breaking some windows, yeah.
475 to left field, but 220 down the right field line. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's just gonna be a rectangle, just in the outfield. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll still continue to try to figure out how the dimensions would work opening up Oak Street. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour, we got Sports and Leisure coming up at 1 o'clock, presented by Johnny's Tavern. On the other side of the break, we will hear from J.J. Piccolo, Royals general manager, as he has his press conference. Matt Quatrero pre-game for opening day. We'll hear from MJ Melendez, locker room, the clubhouse open. So hearing from some of the players as well, getting ready to go out there in game number 1 in what is the biggest opening day for this young group of players, outside of those that may have made the opening day roster, like opening day last year for Vinny Pasquantino, the biggest opening day of his career, because he was not on the opening day roster in 2022. So there is something different about being on that roster on actual opening day. But the biggest one of these guys' careers, this younger group, because it's like the SEC. It just means more now. It means something. Let's hope in August it's meaning something.
All natural food to Midwestern families since 1958. Enjoy healthier food, more free time, free delivery, and better value. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Dylan Michaels. We had up until 2 o'clock. We got Sports or Leisure coming up an hour from now. Sterling Holmes will hang out with us. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. Giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern, getting a sports question and a leisure question, right? We do that an hour from now. We'll have some college basketball. We will have some Royals opening day questions going on. We talked a pretty decent amount in the first hour about opening day. We went through the opening day lineup, roster, whatever you want to call it, just starters in the field, and also the DH and the starting staff from what it was last year to what it is this year, just to see how much an improvement has been made at different positions. And of the 15 positions, I came away with 9 of the 15 being improvements. 4 of the 15 being equals, remaining the same, and 2 of the differences being a decrease. And even those could be debated as to whether or not they're just sort of the same. One of the decreases to me was Michael Massey to Adam Frazier. A decrease to me was Chris Bubich to Alec Marsh because of how good Chris Bubich was at the beginning of the season. We know now he got injured, but how good he was to start the year as the 5th starter, I don't know what Alec Marsh is going to be. I don't know what Jordan Lyles is going to be. Over the course of the season, if we look at it and say what the 5th starter brought to the Royals, yeah, it was really bad. And hopefully Alec Marsh is better. I would say even if we want to argue that, I would still say it's sort of an even exchange. But where I think the improvements are, I think first base is an improvement with a healthy Vinny Pasquantino. I think third base is an obvious improvement. Last year, opening day was Hunter Dozier. This year, it's Maikel Garcia. I think it may be debatable, but I think Edward Olivares to MJ Melendez is an improvement with what I think MJ could be this year, what I hope MJ could be this year. You could argue it's an even. I would lean improvements. Not strong improvement, not a Dozier to Garcia, but lean improvement. A definite improvement in right field is MJ to Renfroe. MJ Melendez to Hunter Renfroe is an improvement. And to me, a definite improvement is Franmil Reyes to Nelson Velasquez. A definite improvement is Zach Greinke to Cole Reagans. A definite improvement is Jordan Lyles to Micah Wacha. A definite improvement is Brad Keller to Seth Lugo. There you go. Out of the starting staff and the expected opening day lineup, and even if we just want to go opening day lineup and starter on the mound today, just specific opening day to opening day, of those 11, 7 of the 11 to me are improvements from a year ago. And only one of them would be a downgrade, and that being Michael Massey to Adam Frazier. And that, again, is debatable. Dylan went with it being an equal, which I'm perfectly fine with. Adam Frazier, he was part of a division-winning team last year at second base. He's going to give you a representative second base. He's going to be you're going to get a professional player at second base. You're not dipping down into the minor leagues to go and grab Miguel Asensio. You're not doing that to come up and pitch a game. So you're getting an actual professional. I think that's a big part of the depth and what this season could be. And even if you had to go down, if Velasquez or MJ struggles in a Nick Pratto, if he continues to swing the bat the way that he has through spring training. But that's obviously a big if, because spring training numbers and See, on one hand, it's like, spring training numbers. Look what MJ's doing. Look what Nick Pratto's doing. Look what Nick Lofton's doing. Heck, spring training numbers. What about Nelson Velasquez? You don't really care about spring training numbers. Do they really matter? I mean, the guy hit 14 bombs in 40 games last year. Does it matter that he's got one extra base hit and like 40 at-bats in spring? Batting 100? Not really. Let's see him out there when the games actually count, right?
Yeah, it's like the pitchers that are going to win the Cy Young are the ones doing good in spring training.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are doing bad, they're just working on location on their curveball or their slider.
Yeah.
It's really not.
He's just pouring in that sweeper.
Yeah.
He's trying to really get that sweeper down, and that's what he's working on. Every single pitch is that sweeper. Yeah, he's getting crushed. But you know what he's getting ready for? Opening day. He's getting ready for the season, okay? This guy is on fire. He's got 15 Ks and 2 walks. He is just brilliant. Really, we haven't really seen that. Well, he's got a new pitch here, new pitch there. He's just he's pouring them all into the strike zone, and that's really what's going on. Well, he's doing it in split squad against like the single A and double A guys, and that. Yeah, but it's really about honing in and mastering those pitches. He's been really good.
Yeah, no matter how dire it is for your team before the first game of the season, you have all the hope in the world. You have all the excuses and reasons why this is going to work out.
They're just Dylan, you play baseball. You're like there's something about opening day.
Played is a liberal use of the word, but yes.
You participated.
I participated.
You participated past high school. You played. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
All right. you were going to college classes while also playing baseball for that school.
Yes,
okay.
correct.
So or participating, as you would say. There's just that different feel about opening day. Like opening day football, it's awesome, right? We're pumped. You got the fall feel to the air. Maybe it's really hot, but it's just like, the grass.
It's like a Florida morning.
Yeah, the crack of the bat.
70, not a lot of, there's some wind, but not a lot of humidity, hopefully.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's beautiful today, and I don't know, just a different, out of all the opening days, it just has a completely different feel.
And you can also
than the other
lose.
ones.
You can lose this game, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
As long as you don't go 7 of 20.
Right.
Then yes.
Well,
you're
here's the
fine.
thing. On Friday morning, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I'll be damned if I'm talking about Kadarius Toney dropping passes and Chris Jones sitting up in the stands. If Chris Jones is sitting in the suite in the game today, perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
Totally fine with that. If Kadarius Toney makes 0 catches in this afternoon's game against the Twins, I'm totally fine with that. Last year, Friday morning show was a different conversation.
Yes.
I just don't think Cole Reagans can play wide receiver for this team. I'm really concerned about that. They've made a lot of additions. They made a lot of changes. 7 players on the opening day roster last year are on the opening day roster this year. Quick, Dylan, trivia. Who are they? 7 players total.
From last year's
opening day
this
roster
one?
this year. Michael Massey doesn't count because he's on the IL.
And Bobby Witt and Pasquantino, those are bingo spaces.
Yes, Vinny and Bobby, and I think there's another bingo
Salvi.
space. Salvi, there's 3 bingo spaces.
So I need 4.
You need 4,
Man.
and only 2 of the 4 will actually be
Was it
playing
Melendez?
today. MJ
Okay.
started in right field, and we did center field to center field. This go around and trying to figure out who was better, worse. Was it improvement, not improvement? All the same.
Oh man, it's
Kyle Isbell.
oh yep.
Yep, Kyle Isbell. And then there's 2 pitchers that one of them you definitely won't see, and let's hope you don't see the other one either. Brady Singer and Jordan Lyles.
Okay.
That's your 7.
Wow.
So out of all of the 26-man roster last year, this year, Salvi, Pasquantino, Bobby Witt, MJ Melendez, Kyle Isbell, Brady Singer, and Jordan Lyles. And Jordan Lyles is in the bullpen in long relief. Let's hope you see 5 of those guys. Because at max, you would see 6.
Right.
A lot of changeover. Here's J.J. Piccolo press conference in discussing this team and the difference this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah, I think it clearly states that we felt like we needed to make a lot of change. We had a lot of holes to fill. We didn't have a particular number in mind, but I heard that today coming in. I didn't realize it was as many as it is, but it's exciting for us. It was necessary. We want to compete at a higher level, and to do so, we had to make some changes, and pretty extreme.
JJ, when you look at the veteran that you brought in and the younger players, how impressed are you to see them coming together so quickly and becoming the team that you envision?
Yeah, thinking through this, trying to reflect on how we got to where we are today, I think a lot of it had to do, we had a lot of belief in a young core. You got Bobby, Michael, MJ, Massey, Cole Reagans, Brady. There's a group of guys there we felt like we could build around. And how do you want to build around them? Obviously, it's guys that have track record, have done it at the highest level, and then you want to see them blossom. I mean, you're really doing it for their development, becoming really good major league players. And I think in the type of player we brought in, the quality of the person that they are, the character, the competitiveness, I think it's pretty healthy right now. It's opening day. I hope we're sitting here in October and saying the same thing.
Because of what you just addressed, does this make opening day is always exciting, but does this create a feeling
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of guys in there. It's their first opening day roster, which is pretty neat. I mean, that's a pretty special thing. I actually heard a couple guys on MLB Network radio over the last week talking about their memories of opening day. So it's neat to be a part of. It's neat to listen to Q deliver that message to them. So even guys that were here last year that played a lot of the season, this is their first experience. There's going to be 38,000, I think, there today. That's pretty neat, and it's something they're always going to remember. And then, of course, you got Cole Reagans, who wasn't even with us last year, and now he's on the mound for his opening days, our opening day starter. So it'll be fun. You know, there's going to be a lot of nerves and jitters, but they'll get through those. It'll be natural, and they'll get off to a good start.
All right, Todd. JJ, the pitching staff has been a major overhaul for sure. What have you learned from watching these guys do their spring training work that gets you excited about what you're going to see now?
There's real purpose to what they do. There's no panic. You know, not all of their outings were flawless. You know, they weren't as sharp as they're going to be, but there's no panic. You know, I really enjoyed watching how they were very intentional about being around each other, being in the food room together, going out and watching bullpens. I know when Jordan Lyles threw his first live BP, I think everybody in the rotation was there to watch, and bullpen, members were out there as well. But I think that just speaks to the experience that they have that will rub off on our other guys.
Mark mentioned the attendance. Have you, outside of this building, have you heard the buzz, the excitement from fans, and what does that mean to you?
Well, it's good. I mean, it's buzz, and I haven't, because we were out of town, I haven't really felt it. But yesterday it was good to see people here for the workout day, and just some of the comments you got. I know people are excited. We always try to make our club better. I think it's just some of the names of the players that are recognizable names that's what have people excited, and they know their names because they've had good major league careers. So I'm glad our fans are excited. It's our job to put a good club on the field and compete at the highest level. It's something that we don't take lightly. It's a great responsibility. It's an honor to have that responsibility. But I want our fans to enjoy our club.
What do those expectations feel like on your shoulders? A lot of people outside saying that it's a squad that can win quite a bit.
Yeah, it's. I was telling Sam today. It's kind of going into the year. There's excitement. There's optimism. Then there's the reality of we got to get through 162 games, and a lot of things got to go right. Players got to play better than we did last year. Mature as players. The free agents we signed just need to do what they've done over their careers, and then we have to stay healthy. So we know that we're a long way off from talking about October baseball. The games in April matter as much as the games in September, and we need to play well in April, and we have a tough schedule, so we got a challenge right out of the gate. But I'm glad there's optimism and excitement in the city.
Sam? JJ, you brought in Cole last year, obviously different expectations than he has when you make him your opening day starter. Just wondering, from your interactions with him over the past, what has it been, 9 months or so, what you've seen about him and that leads you to believe he can handle just more expectations this year mentally, I guess.
Well, when you look at his journey, his story, the Tommy Johns, the adversity, and still that determination he has to be great. I don't know of other players that have gone through that. There's very few players that have had 2 Tommy Johns and, kind of got punched in the teeth, just as he's getting back, he has another breakdown. So I think that's going to serve him well moving forward. I think he's hardened to the game, so to speak. But since we acquired him because of his talent, we didn't know exactly what we were getting from a personality standpoint, makeup standpoint, but those that have been around him, he's as prepared as anybody in the game. He's very diligent in how he studies and prepares, and then also his self-evaluation is very good. So he has all the qualities of being a number one, other than a track record right now. And I'm not trying to put too high of expectations on him, but we made him our opening day starter for a reason. We believe he can handle it, and a lot of it is because of what he's gone through as a player. So we feel good about that.
Is there something about his preparation that stands out in particular?
You'd probably have to ask Brian Sweeney for more of the specifics, but I know that he keeps a book and keeps, pretty copious notes as he goes. And post-trade, speaking with the Rangers and the people who've been with him, I guess that's been part of his routine since he signed, and I'm sure it's just gotten a little bit more detailed as he's learned more about what it takes to pitch in the major leagues, how to prepare for hitters. But the recall, some people are better off writing it down and remember it next time. I don't know if that's part of his routine, but I know it served him well. And I've also heard other pitchers in our clubhouse talking about it last year. So people take note of it, and maybe it changes the way some other guys do things.
Go ahead.
Hey, JJ. Two things. One, how much better equipped do you think Michael is now with the seasoning, but also acclimation at third to come into his own, I guess, would be the way to put it?
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence in Michael. And I think over the course of my career, what's a common trait that great players have, and it's fearlessness. And Michael has a fearlessness on the field. He doesn't mind what position he plays. We all know he can play shortstop, but on this team, he's playing third base. We saw an immediate improvement last year defensively with him being down there. We have a lot of confidence he can move to second base and be a really good second baseman as well. So he's just a talented defender. But I think it's the fearlessness that gives us comfort that not only can he compete right now, but he'll get even better in the coming years. We have a lot of belief in Michael being better than just an average major league player. We think he can do some great things in this game and be a name that people around baseball recognize.
Playing third is its own kind of monster, isn't it, as opposed to short? I mean, is that
it's faster. Yeah.
Last year by being there more?
Yeah, it's faster. There certainly were plays we could point to that he didn't make last year that we think he'll make this year. You're just, when you play shortstop or second base, I mean, that extra 30 feet you have makes all the difference in the world. But when you're on the bag and guys are hitting balls 100-plus miles an hour, it takes a little getting used to. But, again, that fearlessness, I think, helps him. He's not going to back away from a ball. He may have plays where something eats him up, but he's not backing away from the ball. But it's a tough position. But watching him move to his left, also balls coming in, slow rollers, thrown from different angles, all the things that the great third basemen over the course of time have done, he can do that because he's so athletic. So there's a lot of comfort with him there. I know when you think about profiling, he's not a 40 home run guy, but the way our team is constructed on defense and athleticism and speed, it fits well.
I'm trying to make that one question, but the second question is just to ask about Waka. What do you know about him now that maybe you didn't before, and sort of how long you tracked him and what's
I don't know if there's anything to really. He's really been exactly what we thought he would be. Just his demeanor, his professionalism. He's easy to approach. He's easy to talk to about things. A couple things came up in spring training. I was just curious about his opinion on it, and he's open-minded, but at the same time has an opinion. He acts and thinks like a player that's been in big leagues a long time. So it's exactly what we thought we were getting.
What do you feel your bullpen depth is with some of the injuries that you had in spring training?
Yeah, there was still competition, prior to the injuries, so nothing was really set. And, the big one was Matt Sauer. How ready do we feel like he is to compete in the major leagues? I mean, and nobody's ever really ready. I mean, when they're coming from AA especially. But because we have guys that throw strikes around him, there was comfort that we could slot him in and use him appropriately. But he also, I think, can provide us some depth. When we need him to go 2 or 3, he can do that. We think Zerpa can go 2 or 3. So there's some balance. There's handedness that has balance, and then there's guys that can throw multiple innings that will help the guys that, we're relying more as one-inning guys. So the depth in the bullpen's good. The injuries always hurt because something can happen today. And the guys who got hurt at the end of spring training are not available tomorrow or Saturday. So there's concern with if anything were to happen right now, but we're very satisfied with the 8 guys in the bullpen to start the year.
And then you mentioned the early season schedule. Did you guys do anything this spring to talk about that or anything? I don't know how.
One thing I noticed or observed and feel good about, from a front office perspective, from the coaching staff, you don't necessarily want to talk about winning, but you want to talk about the process and playing well and execution. And that's what we try to stick to. the players in there were the ones who matter the most were talking about winning. So that's where it was nice that they're just settling in, and they're the ones that have, they have an expectation to go out there and score at least one more run than the Twins today, and they'll have the same approach on Saturday. So we didn't have to do a whole lot, but we know that they believe that they can win ball games. Not sure if I answered your question, but.
All right, we got Q coming in here in a couple minutes, so we'll finish up. Dave, Jalen, and Todd. Go ahead, Dave.
JJ, you kind of perfectly set up my question. You mentioned with Vern, just in passing October baseball. I'm curious what would be a successful season for you? Could something less than October baseball be a success?
Yeah, I don't want that to be the message, but we understand where we were last year as a club. So it's going to take a lot for us to win 30 more games than last year. But I don't think it's out of our reach. I think, again, the things I talked about earlier all have to happen. So I guess the answer is yes, there can be a successful season without making the playoffs, but you don't ever go into a season not expecting to get to the playoffs. So I don't think we can put anything past this club, but I can say the same thing about the other 29 clubs too. I mean, there were teams, without naming them, last year that were in the playoffs, that went deep into the playoffs, that probably didn't expect to be there. But the improvement is what we need to see. We're coming off a year that we don't want to talk about anymore. We got to put it in our past. But there's a lot of improvement that, if it ends up being short of the playoffs, but it's a really solid season and our fans are out here in August and September watching the games, I think we can call that a success.
Jalen. JJ, I just have one more on Nelson Velasquez. When you acquired him, he came forward with the power, but where have you seen the next step in his development as he continues to embark on his first full season?
I think it's going to be consistency. He spent a lot of time last year with Alex Zumwalt and the hitting staff there, Keone, building out and developing a better plan and approach that what we were doing was different than what he had been doing in the past. He certainly gets all the credit for taking into the game. But I think the consistency, he's going to be pitched a little bit differently now. There's a track record there that the other clubs know about. Last year, he was able to have a tremendous, 7-8 weeks with us. But because he did that, and I think it was 17 homers on the year, he's going to be pitched a little bit differently, and we'll see what his plate discipline's like. And if he's able to lay off some pitches, then I think he's taking the next step to be a consistent hitter.
Todd? You guys made the historic commitment to Bobby, right? And he's talked openly about how maybe put a little too much pressure on himself early in the years before. What do you think this year heading into it? How much more prepared is he to kind of be that face of the franchise early on?
Well, he's ready for it. I think he understands, who he is. He gained a lot of confidence last year. But then, when you add Adam Frazier and Hunter Renfroe, Hampson, they're the ones that are supposed to take some of that pressure off of him, along with other players that weren't on the opening day roster last year. But he's ready for it. He's really mature. You can hear it in his voice, the way he talks about the game. Everything from the first discussion we had about an extension for him was centered around winning and commitment. And that was a clear indication to us that he has moved on from trying to figure out if he's a major league player. He knows he's a really good one, and now he wants to win.
All right, there's JJ Picollo. So many different reasons to be excited and pumped about this upcoming season for Royals baseball. The new faces, Bobby Witt with a brand new minted contract. And again, hopefully Bobby Witt goes into this season just playing the way that he plays. Just be Bobby Witt. Don't be Bobby Witt, the guy who's got $100 million. Don't be Bobby Witt, the guy who's trying to justify the contract. Just be Bobby Witt, because his play alone justifies the contract. The reason you got the contract is how good you are, and certainly how good he can be as he gets better and improves and things like that. As being a guy that, we're talking about rarefied air for Bobby Witt. I mean, the guy has done something that few players have done in Major League Baseball, and having a 30 and almost 59 or almost 50 stolen bases, 30 and 49. In Major League Baseball. And that is something that has not been done except for Eric Davis, Barry Bonds, Mike Trout, and last year, Ronald Acuna. And, of course, Bobby Witt Jr., which if you're going to be a part of a group, that's not a bad group to be a part of. I mean, it could be, Lucas Duda and Chris Owings. There's different groups to be a part of. Anybody can be a part of a group. That's the group if you're going to be a part of one. Hey, this guy did something that only Eric Davis and Barry Bonds and Mike Trout and Ronald Acuna Jr. have done. Cool. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We will hear from Matt Quatraro, Cole Reagans, and get into a little more of this Royals baseball opening day. We got Sports or Leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. Sterling Holmes will be hanging out with us. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. We'll talk about a couple of things that JJ said as well as we continue rolling tonight, 6 o'clock. It is NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 coverage. Clemson, Arizona gets underway, and then San Diego State, UConn, followed by Alabama, North Carolina, and then Illinois and Iowa State wrapping things up tonight. We'll take a timeout, come back, more Zone next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sports or Leisure coming up in about 25 minutes from now. Sterling Holmes hanging out. He's got the leisure for you. We got the sports. We got opening day questions, some college basketball questions on the sports side right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB here in the zone. And hopefully there are a lot of pitchers for the Royals today that are in the zone. Hopefully there are some hitters for the Royals as well that are in the zone. Matt Quattrero talked today. I want to play this clip first from John Morosi, and then we'll hear from MJ Melendez in the clubhouse as maybe give you an idea of what's going on with this ball club right now. But we're talking about Cole Ragans, and we had our ZOUs yesterday in which we asked, would either Bobby Witt or Cole Ragans finish in the top 5 of MVP, Cy Young, respectively? They're both the 6 betting favorite in each of their awards. 6 betting favorite for Cole Ragans as the Cy Young Award winner at plus 900, and 6 betting favorite for Bobby Witt for the MVP at plus 1,300. John Morosi, MLB Network, they go through their predictions last night. They have John Morosi on, and here is the Q and then the A with John Morosi on the Cy Young.
We had to pick our Cy Youngs, and most of ours are obvious picks. Yours is not. And when you said it in the commercial break, the guys from the couch go, ooh, tell us who's going to win Cy Young in the American League, JP.
Cole Ragans, Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
I'm all about the Midwest here in this segment, Lauren. I've got the Tigers winning the division and a Kansas City Royals left-hander, Cole Ragans, winning the Cy Young. He was a revelation for KC once he came over at the deadline. Theo DeRosa, our colleague at MLB.com, great name, by the way. Theo wrote about how Ragans' fastball velo went up 4 miles per hour year over year. And he also added a slider last year once he arrived to the Kansas City Royals. So you think about the great lineage of Royals Cy Young winners, Saberhagen, Greinke. I think that Cole Ragans finds a way to add his name to that list this season.
I know Detroit is a sexy pick to win the division. The Royals were selected. Oh, man, who was it for the MLB Network that picked the Royals? I'll think of it here in just a second. So the Royals have been, looked at as a surprise team this year that could go and win, maybe get to 500. Hopefully that would be the case. That would be awesome. J.J. Piccolo talking in the press conference saying that, you don't go into a season thinking it's going to be a successful season if you don't make the playoffs. You want to win the games. You want to make the playoffs. You want to win the World Series. I'm now offering my commentary, and that is I think it's very realistic, and I think a lot of Royals fans are approaching this season as saying, yeah, a positive year will not making the playoffs is not mutually exclusive with being a bad year. You can miss the playoffs and still have a good season this year for the Royals. You can be in contention, in position to make the wild card spot in August, in September, still have an opportunity to do that and not make the playoffs and it be a successful season. I'll say this, if Cole Ragans wins the Cy Young, I'll pick the Royals to win the division. If they're getting Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo and representative starts from them, quality professional starts from those guys, a revamped bullpen, quality professional guys in the bullpen, some added depth to the team, some guys that have been around a little bit, a superstar like Bobby Witt, and the Cy Young winner in this division, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take the Royals getting to 84, wins or something. Because to win the Cy Young, you're going to have to go out there and start 25, 30 times. And he's going to be dominant if that's the case. And you're going out there with other chances to win with a Wacha and a Lugo and throw in Singer. We'll see what Alec Marsh can bring to the table. I don't have many expectations for the 5th starter spot, but again, we're talking about the 5th starter spot. The 5th starter spot for the Royals was start number 2 last year for Jordan Lyles. Second game of the season, Jordan Lyles is out there. That's your 5th starter. Such a massive difference. MJ Melendez, I'm cautiously optimistic for what he can do this year. I think if we look at X factors for this Royals team, I think the man on the mound today in Cole Ragans will be a huge X factor for this team. Offensively, position player-wise, the biggest X factor could be MJ Melendez. Because if he can put together a decent season while playing left field and not be a hole in the lineup, an automatic out and be somebody that takes routes like Magellan in left field to get to the ball. He can, look like a left fielder, like a major league left fielder. Doesn't have to look like Alex Gordon. Just don't look like Billy Butler. Boy, there's a lot in the middle there. There's a lot between those two guys. But MJ Melendez in the clubhouse a little bit earlier today in talking with the reporters, getting ready for yet another opening day for MJ.
Good. I feel like we've all gelled really well. I feel like the locker room has just been a lot of fun. We've had team dinners already, so it's been really good, and it's really exciting.
What's the most fun you guys had during spring training?
Probably right there towards the end, we ended up doing a group dinner at Chili's, and that was pretty fun. They had a really good time, and it sounds kind of weird, like a bunch of major leaguers going to Chili's. They can go to a fancy restaurant, but it just kind of goes to show, how we've been gelling and, the kind of the fun that we're having.
I was about to say, but why'd you pick Chili's?
The vets picked it.
The vets picked Chili's?
Yeah, I won't name any names.
Okay.
But
were you pleased with this decision?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we all were, and
Okay.
that's what made it so unique and so fun, and it was a great time.
You guys split the ticket, or someone pick the whole thing?
No, one of the vets got it.
Can I ask, what's the order? What's the order at Chili's?
Yeah.
Everybody got something different, but my table, we ended up splitting some wings and some chicken crispers.
No baby back ribs.
Our table didn't have baby back ribs, but we did end up singing the song at the very end with some of the waitresses and waiters.
With no ribs.
No, some of the other guys got ribs.
Well, hey, look, as you get prepared for opening day, you face a really good pitcher on the Twins, Pablo. Last performance, complete game. What's the game plan going in?
Yeah, I mean, just hopefully get on base early, score some runs, put some pressure on the defense. We've been swinging it well this spring, and a lot of our guys have seen him a lot, so hopefully we use that to our advantage.
And you know that last year did not end up the way anybody wanted to. How important is it for you guys to get off to a strong start this year?
Oh, it's extremely important, especially, in our division, being able to start off a couple games against the team in our division, the team that won it last year. So just, hopefully get some wins early and really set the tone for the season.
Is there something through these first few series that Q or y'all have established that you want to see specifically from the team?
No, nothing specifically in terms of, things that we want to see, but I think everybody, in the back of their mind just has, what we've had the last couple of seasons and what we know we need to improve on, and, hoping to see that come to fruition.
So many new guys, does that kind of thinking about this past few seasons, does that spread to them as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of these guys have been on winning teams. Obviously, we've had some vets like Will Smith, who's made his debut here, and has won 3 back-to-back World Series. So just been able to talk to him, and he gives a lot of insight into the team and what winning teams do. And he's been bringing that over here, and he's helped bring the clubhouse together a lot as well. So definitely love that.
So I love the vibe, right? Fun, because they haven't played any games yet. You dread the post-game interview of the MJ. So tell me about, I guess if you can just weigh in on what's going on right now at the ball club. Yeah, I mean, just not playing good baseball right now. We just got to, find out what's going on, come back to the ballpark tomorrow, try to win a game. And get back to working. That's the only way we can get better is just to come back and work and try and keep grinding and, this thing could turn around. You guys think that maybe you feel close? You feel like it? Yeah, I mean, we just, you got to go out there and just go play ball. Just got to get past this stretch, I don't want that, right? It's fun right now. We don't have that going on. That was last year. That was April last year when they started 7-22 in March and April. And they had a 7-game losing streak before the end of April last year. Good night, man. This group's going to Chili's. Right? There's not a diva amongst them. And by the way, MJ was asked who picked up the tab. Everybody split the tab. He said, no, one of the vets picked it up. Oh, Bobby Witt. Why don't you pick it up there, Bob? Hey, Robert. Why don't you go ahead and pick up the tab there, guy? You're a $100 million guy. You make more money. You're the wealthiest guy there. Of course, when you get your entire contract. But hey, Robert. Of course, Michael Wacha, could afford it as well. Everybody can afford it, right? Anybody that's there.
It's Chili's. So
it is. They did go to Chili's.
It's not Capital Grill. And also,
right.
where's the over/under on that bill? Is it over 1,000, under 1,000 probably?
Well,
I'd
if
say
it's
it
26 guys,
Right.
you know, $20 well, you can have drinks. You know,
I'd say 20
probably
bucks.
$50 a head. Probably $50 because if you have your entree,
Okay.
so your entree is like 15, 16, 17 bucks depending on what. Well, they split wings. No, okay, the younger guys are splitting food. All right, come on now.
The kids' table.
Y'all ain't in the minor leagues anymore. You guys are getting a professional check. All right, but good for them though. Like you
Good
know what?
teammates too, because if they found out before sitting down that the vet was covering the tab and they still
That's true.
split, it's good teammates.
It's a good point. Yeah, but if you go there and you're not sure, like I don't know, man. Want to split some wings and some chicken crispers? What are you thinking, guys? You want to get dessert? Oh, no dessert for me. Not right now. Check hasn't come in yet.
What's the biggest steak we have here?
And what's the
Is there
most
a surf and
expensive?
turf that comes
what's
with
the
that as
most
well?
expensive steak? You got the. Let me get the porterhouse here, right?
We do a lobster tail
I'll
and
do
a
a
32-ounce strip here.
Yeah, I'll do medium rare plus. That's fine. Oh, can you? Oh, I got a topping on it too. Oscar that up, baby. Let's go. I hear. Is there an Oscar in the house? Let me get an Academy Award right on top of that steak too, baby. Come on. The vets chose Chili's. Where'd you guys go? Into Chili's? Was that you right? No, the vets. Like, leave it to the dads. Leave it to the middle-aged, mid-30s. You know. Older for Major League Baseball, mid-30s, not even middle age at that point. But
I went to Chili's all the time after baseball events. So
see,
I don't know
yeah,
what
there
the
you
big
go.
deal is.
There you go. It's like, guys, where do you want to go to eat? I don't know. You guys choose. You're the vets. I mean, Applebee's? Really, Applebee's? Or just,
Did someone bring orange slices and?
well, you want Chili's? Well, maybe some. No, you thinking maybe TGI Fridays? Why are those the only choices, Michael? Hey, Will Smith, why are those the only choices? Lugo picked Chili's, Michael Walker picked TGI Fridays, and Will Smith picked Applebee's. Bobby Witt and MJ are like, come on, man, let's
Dave and
get to the
Buster's?
town. Let's
Yeah.
go, man. Dave and Buster's, yeah.
That would have been the spot.
Rent the whole place out, man. Rent the whole
Yes.
Chuck E. Cheese, let's go. So there you go. They rocked it at Chili's, and nobody got baby back wings. But they did, as a group, sing it with some of the staff. Some of the servers. There's got to be video of that, right? With some Royals players with the servers singing that one, my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, I want my baby back, baby back.
The servers made them sing to get their food would be even better.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, oh, you want your food? You got to sing. It's like the happy birthday. Kid.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. They you got to do the credit card roulette, right? You just throw it all in a hat and then pick one out. It's like, ugh.
It's a little more fun at Chili's than, like I said, Capitol Grill or
Yeah.
McCormick and Schmidt's. You know.
Who's the guy that actually would be kind of screwed on that if they went and like, hey, James MacArthur, sorry, dude, it's your tab, man. Sorry about your luck there, guy. Like, really?
They're probably actually fighting over this one so that they can claim
That's
that
right.
they've covered.
Picked it
dinner
up, man.
before. Yep.
Remember that? No alligator arms from me. I reached right out there. I was Go-Go Gadget, man. It was Gumby. Just stretched right over there. Grabbed that tab. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. More Zone next.
All right, everybody, it's time to march into Greenlight and see all the new specials that'll be springing up all month. For the best deals, go to...
6:10. Have a little fun wrapping things up for the last hour of the show on a Thursday. Just a couple of hours away from opening day for the Royals, 1 hour away from opening day for Major League Baseball with the 2:05 start with the Angels playing the Orioles. And then the rest of the slate gets underway at 3:10 with Tigers, White Sox, Royals, Twins, Nationals, Cubs, Yanks, Astros, Cardinals, Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Pirates, Marlins, Blue Jays, Rays, all starting at 3:10 today. And then you got a few games coming up tonight, with 2 games already being rained out and postponed. Brewers and Mets postponed, and then Braves and Phillies postponed today. But we'll play some sports or leisure. We'll get some NCAA tournament questions, some Major League Baseball opening day questions with the Royals. We'll deal with that coming up next here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes hanging out with us. Dylan Michaels with us as well. We head up until 2 o'clock. One more hour to go. It is a Sports or Leisure Thursday. 913-381-10-810. Load them up first in, first on to play some Sports or Leisure. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 at Johnny's Tavern on the line. Get a sports question and a leisure question right. You get them. You win the prize. Get either of them wrong, you lose. The question is out there available for someone to call in and request. If you know the answer, you can request that particular question. We give out the right answers when somebody has answered it correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. Our sports questions today, we've got some NCAA tournament questions, and we have some Royals opening day questions on the docket on the sports side. What about on the leisure side, Sterling?
Sing me a song, You're the Piano Man.
Yes, I am.
Which is
I am not.
finish the lyric. You have to finish the lyric and know it's not just that song. The other category we have is What's That Name? It's the baseball edition. What is this dude's real name? I will give you a nickname. I will give you a alliteration of a name, and you have to figure out what is the dude's actual name.
Okay. That works.
And no one Google this, okay? We're not no Googles. Come on.
You can
ask
if
Jeeves
people
it if you
Google-
want.
Don't Google it, but ask Jeeves.
That rule has long been
I was going to say, man, you're
broken.
going to have to try again with the asking people not to Google it, man.
You can use Ask Jeeves. That's all I ask.
What about Siri? What about Alexa?
DuckDuckGo. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other.
What about Alexa? Can you use that one?
Firefox. Is Firefox still around?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is probably. Is it? Has it gone? Is it debunked now?
I'm trying to think of the old time. Internet Explorer. You can use Internet
right.
Explorer. There you go. That's what you get.
That's what you can use.
Dial up.
All right, 913-381-10-810, 913-381-10-810. Those are the categories. That's how you play. I am ready to go. Sterling, you good to go?
Let's go.
All right, Dylan, you ready to go? Oh, no! Damn, I thought we had a good Dylan today. Day after your birthday, man. You know what? Dylan's hungover from all the partying last night for his birthday. You guys stay out till like 1 or 2 o'clock? You guys go to Chili's for your birthday?
No, not as lucky as the Royals.
Little Ruby
players,
Tuesday
no.
for you?
No, I don't have the same salary as those guys. Can't afford that.
Yes. If only there was a veteran in your life that could pick up the tab for
I
you.
agree.
Yeah.
Dylan does strike me as a club Chili's guy. Like, he goes out to Chili's until it closes. He shuts Chili's down.
Get those baby back ribs, man. Come on. Or you can split the wings and the chicken crispers like MJ Melendez and his group did. I want to know who was at the table with him that split wings and chicken crispers. Like, what do you guys want to eat? I don't know. I don't have money for my own meal here. You guys just want to get like a table full of like wings and some chicken strips or something? Yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah, let's do it, man. All right, cool. The hell's up with MJ over there? Like, you don't want a steak or anything? I'm not paying for this. Let's go all out. You know what? Let's get bone-in and boneless. Take that, Michael Waka. You're paying for this. We're getting both kinds of wings.
I will say, when I think of Chili's, I don't typically think of steak. I do think of chicken crispers and wings, so.
Exactly, yes. No, I think of Chili's. I think of baby back ribs. It's the only thing to think of with Chili's.
All right.
If you go to Chili's and you don't get the baby back ribs, did you even go to Chili's?
Are we going to sing the song?
No,
or-
we're not.
Oh.
No, we already sang it in the noon hour. So Dylan and I, we did Acapulco. We did acapella. We also did Acapulco. We did a little dance. We did not do that. All right, 913-381-10-810. To the phone lines we go, and we bring in Charles to lead us off here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Charles, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with, sir?
Do some leisure. Let's do that nickname.
All right, we'll start locally. What was Satchel Paige's real name?
Wow.
Satchel Paige's real name.
His first name was not Satchel, believe it or not.
I kind of guessed by you having that as a question and what's the real name that the first name wasn't Satchel, but Indiana Jones had a Satchel.
He did. There are some rumors of how the name Satchel came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know how the name Nancy came about for Buck.
Leroy Robert Page.
Nails. Leroy. Please tell me he used Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves. As long as it was Ask Jeeves. Leroy Jenkins. Yeah. All right. On to the sports side, so we got NCAA tournament. We got some Major League Baseball. Royals opening day. That's what we got.
Let's try the NCAA tournament.
NCAA tournament, okay. Who's the last national championship winner to make the Sweet 16 the following tournament? Besides UConn making the Sweet 16 this go-around, the last national championship team to even make the Sweet 16.
That's a good question.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll do what I can. Leroy is not the answer to this one.
Is it Satchel?
It is. Damn it. You got it right. Satchel University, 1925. No. Last national championship winner, the most recent one to reach the Sweet 16 following the national championship winner. What say
So
you?
national title and then Sweet 16.
National title and then made it the next year. Yep.
Oh, boy.
The answer is not UConn because, that's this year, but most recent before this weekend. Most recent before today.
The most recent.
Oh,
correct?
yeah, that's right. That's right. Not Kansas. They lost to Arkansas in the second round. And North Carolina missed the tournament the next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a dart and say Florida.
Florida, not a bad guess. They did win the national title back-to-back. That is incorrect. Charles, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it, sir. Have a great day. 913-381-1010. That question is out there.
That was a good one, man.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to say Florida. Florida was a great guess.
Oh,
I was
Florida
when
to
he said
guess.
Florida, I thought because they won back-to-back. So I go, oh, that makes
Look, if you don't know and you're just going to throw a dart, hey, you know what? They won back-to-back games, back-to-back championships.
Throw a dart on Joakim Noah. Is it Joakim?
Joakim Noah.
He's the only dude whose name is spelled like that who goes by Joakim. Everyone else is Joakim.
I call him Joakim Soria. I don't care what anybody says. All right, Mama call him Clay. I'm call him Clay. All right, we go to Sean next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sean, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Let's go with the leisure. Let's go with the nickname deal.
All right, nickname deal. We're going with Goose Gossage. Goose Gossage. What was Goose's real first name? And I'll even take the common shorter name he went by.
Goose Gossage.
Reliever, great mustache, Yankees.
Yeah, I remember the guy. I'm a pretty big Yankees fan, so I remember.
Well, then you should know Goose Gossage.
What was his first name?
Was it Nick?
Was it Rick? Rick or Richard? Richard, maybe?
I'll give you Richard. Because
yeah, you will.
The shorter one I would go with is not Rick. It's Rich. I believe on his rookie card it was Rich.
Well, if he says Richard, it can be Rich, right?
No, he said Rick. He never went by Rick.
He
went
did
by
say Rich.
He said Richard.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Look, Sterling, don't be a Richard.
I'm just, look, on his rookie card, it's Rich Gossage. It was not Rick, okay? I'm giving him it because he eventually said Richard.
I thought it was Nick Bradshaw. Wasn't Goose's real name Nick Bradshaw?
If I'm going to give up an easy one that's easily Googleable. Googleable?
Googleable. I like Googleable.
Googleable, then I have to at least give it, some difficulty to this.
We would have accepted Nick as well for Goose from Top Gun. We would have also gone with Nick from with that. So, but getting Richard and not being a Richard, I'm going to go ahead and say that you got that one right. On to the sports side, sir. What do you want to go? College basketball? You want some Royals opening day?
I was trying to think of what might be the answer to that last question, but I don't know if I can get that one. So I'm gonna go with Royals opening day.
Okay, I almost gave out the answer to that when I was going to say the school question. You want that? I almost said the school. Oh, you mean the blah school question? All right, so that would have sucked. Would have given out the answer to that one. All right, since 2000, only 5 pitchers have recorded a win on opening day. Not pitched in a game the Royals won on opening day, but actually got the decision, and it was a W, got the win on opening day. Name 2 of the 5. I originally wrote it down as name 3, but it might be a...
You're generous.
Thank you.
You're not being a Richard.
Exactly. And as I look through here, none of them are named Richard or Goose. Nope.
2 of 5. You said how many of
there have been 5 Royals get a win, get the decision, and a W on opening day since 2000. 5 Rawls. Name a couple. One of them we talked about it in the first hour as to why this year is the most excited for opening day since I've been since 2016.
Yeah.
Because 2017 had sort of a different feel to it.
Is one a guy who gave money back at one point?
I don't think anybody exists like that.
There is a Royals pitcher who gave money back.
I'm not sure the story, so I cannot tell you.
Confirm nor deny. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just to be honest with you, I don't know the reference, to be honest with you.
Did the Royals win last year? I don't think they won.
No, they did not. If you're wondering if the Royals won a game last year, in the first month they won 7. They went 7-22. So, no, they did not win. They lost their first couple of games. That's one of them.
I'm hoping they do a lot. I'm hoping they do a lot better than that because I went ahead and did a bet on the over 74.5. So.
But yeah, I got the over as well.
I did give you a hint because the guy I did say who gave money back his final year when he was under contract, he said, "I want to earn it." That should be a hint. That guy actually did win on opening day.
Not sure who that was.
It's kind of a nickname too. At least
it kind of is. Yeah, it could almost be
his name is short for longer. Yeah.
I know. Greinke's been the last 2. I think he did one. So I'm gonna do Zach Greinke.
Oddly enough, Zach Greinke never got a W on opening day, so you don't even have to guess again. Zach Greinke never got a W on opening day. Hey, Sean, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for playing, brother.
All right, bye.
All right, 913-3-810-810. But that's right, yeah, I don't know why I don't remember that story. But great poll.
Thank you.
Great poll, Sterling. Let's go to Avery next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
You still got that Gilmash, Brad Keller question out there?
Yeah, we do. Hold on. I'll ask the question. Since 2000, only 5 pitchers have recorded a win on opening day. Name them.
Brad Keller and Gilmash.
There's 2.
I think Volquez and Ventura did it too.
There's 4.
I don't know the last one. I thought Greinke did it 2 years ago.
Jose Lima.
It was not Lima time, but it was right around the time of Lima time, if you can believe it.
Brian Bannister, we're getting back there.
Was not double B either.
Anderson?
No, but it's a great guess. I just loved it.
It's pronounced Sanderson.
It was Renelvis Hernandez. Nice job. You'd already got the question right. I just wanted to really put you on the spot to see if you'd name, because originally I was going to have him name 3, but I was feeling it. But Renelvis Hernandez before he ate his way to AAA in 2003, Gil Mesh 07, Ace in 2015, Volquez in 16, and Brad Keller in 2019. On to leisure with Sterling, Avery.
We have What's That Name? Baseball edition. What's this dude's real name? And then we have Finish the Lyric. Sing me a song. You're the piano man.
I'll do the nicknames.
I'm sure you will. This apparently is very easy for people. We'll go with
don't give it to Avery.
Yogi Berra. What was Yogi Berra's real name? Again, surprisingly, Yogi was not his real name.
Lawrence?
Wow, yeah, he didn't even look that up. That's off the top of his dome right there.
That's
yes,
what I said. Don't give it.
It was Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence. Well, that's he got that from his time in college. So.
Well, I lived here still, and my dad's name was Lawrence.
Was his nickname Yogi?
No.
I feel like you missed an opportunity there.
Maybe I'll start calling him that.
Would you nickname him Larry?
Yeah, he goes by Larry.
See, there you go. I knew it. I knew it. Sometimes Richards go by Rich.
Or Goose, supposedly.
Or Nick. You never know. Avery will put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for playing.
Fantasy baseball team last year.
Yep.
Yogi Berenstein Bears.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's great.
No, it's a terrible
Look at that play on words. This year's
Terrible
Lean
name.
Whittet, Rock Whittet.
Okay.
With Bobby Wood Jr.,
I
of course,
see.
yeah.
My name back in the day was Alcides Nuts. So,
wow, creative, yeah.
See? Thank you. Better than Yogi Bear. All right. I'm pumped about my fantasy team this year. You guys want to talk about fantasy baseball teams?
Mine's strong.
You guys want
It's
to
strong.
discuss fantasy
Yeah.
baseball teams?
Yeah.
We can do that. T-Box next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A little sports or leisure here on this Thursday edition. T-Box, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with, man?
I'll try the nickname game.
All right. T-Box. BJ Upton. BJ Upton, what is his name short for? And I will accept two different answers here.
You're asking what BJ stands for? It's a relic of the past.
What's a stand for, Jason?
It's a relic of the past is what it stands for.
I'll just
for those that are going to Chili's on a big night out, that's a relic of the past.
I learned a lot about Jason just now, and
You asked BJ Upton. What does BJ stand for there, T-Box?
T-Box. What's the BJ stand for?
I know what BJ stands for, but
what is it then? No, the player.
The player. T-Box. Come on. What's T-Box
You're
short
making
for?
it too hard on me. I'll just see how to start. I have no idea. How about Brian Jason?
It is not Brian Jason.
Thank you for playing. Sorry that Sterling made it hard on you.
I made it hard with BJ?
You went ahead and just go ahead and put it out there, Sterling. That was sort of the T-Box said it. He's the one that said that. I was just repeating what he said.
I thought BJ Upton was easy.
Greg, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with, Greg?
It's opening day. How can I not start?
Thank you.
With that.
Opening day. Thank you. You know what? Let's go with this one. One of the best opening days in Royals history was in 2004 when they hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning to cap off the Royals' 6-run ninth to come back and beat the White Sox. Do you know the 2 players that hit a home run in the 9th inning to win that game? And,
I remember one is Beltran.
Yep, Beltran.
He finished it.
Yep, Beltran. And oddly enough, I remember the other one because it's more of an obscure name. Beltran's the big one, but there were 2 players that hit a home run.
Obscure name.
Yeah.
Wow.
How long did he play for the Royals?
Let me look it up. Let me tell you.
Obscure,
check it out.
Obscure is in like a 1 or 2 year guy, or obscure is in like you don't remember him super well because he wasn't one of the bigger names.
He played 81 games with the Royals.
Wow.
Oh, and then he came back. Oh, how about that? Started with the Royals, and then after journeying around for about 4 or 5 years, he came back with the Royals and ended up playing another 70 games. So he ended up playing 151 total games with the Royals over 4 years. And this was his second go-around with the Royals.
Oh.
So how about that?
You're not helping me at all.
He's a little like a Paulo Orlando type player. You know, like if you were to say, like, hey, this guy is Paulo Orlando, but this obviously is not his name. He's Dominican.
Huh. When did they hit him? In the late innings?
Oh, yeah, he hit it in the 9th. Yep.
Well, I know Beltran was.
Yep.
Was it Lopez?
It is.
No.
What?
You're kidding me.
No, it is Lopez.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. Do you remember the first name by any chance?
Javi?
No, but that's
No,
fine.
We called him Lopez always.
Yeah, but last names count. Last names count. Even if you threw a dart as a last name, it counts.
I can't even remember.
His name is Mendy Lopez.
Mendy
Lopez. By the way, that's not a reaction of somebody that Googled it.
No, that is not.
No, that is not a reaction.
That's all natural, baby.
Somebody that Googles it is like, is it Lopez? Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's Lopez.
Or am I a really good
What? What?
The childlike wonder, excitement voice. That was
Mendy Lopez.
Good for you.
And
Hey,
Carlos Beltran.
I may be a really good actor.
You know what? That's fine. Either way, you'll be heading over to leisure with Sterling.
You said 81
Thanks,
games,
guys.
and they go, that's way too many games that Juan Gonzalez played. Juan Gonzalez did not play 81 games. He was too injured.
That was awful. Yeah, that was a rough signing. So exciting.
Yeah.
So much
Him
excitement.
and Benito Santiago, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Benito Santiago and Juan Gonzalez. Who'd have thought mid to late 30-year-old guys would not perform?
Harmon Killebrew was great as a Royal, too. Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why not? That's only one side, right?
Yes,
Yes,
leisure
on to
side.
leisure with Sterling.
Leisure. I'm kind of a musician, so let's go for the songs.
Oh, let's
Yes.
go.
You and Sterling,
All
just
right.
kindred spirits there.
Okay. All right. Do you want classic rock? Do you want country? Or do you want a TV show theme song?
Oh, because I love all those musics, but probably the TV shows the least, but the most memorable. Go for that.
Okay.
Oh, wow. All right.
I like
okay.
that.
And this is also one there's some disconnect on, some disagreement on, so I'll accept two different ones for Finish the Lyric.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Temporary layoffs, good times. Easy credit ripoffs, good times. Blank and blank, good times.
I mean, I know the show, Good Times, but you're
Yeah.
not singing it,
Nailed
so
it.
I can't get it. Can you sing it for me?
I can't.
Come on,
This is
Sterling.
the thing where I want the person to sing it. I'm a drummer, not a singer, baby.
Oh,
Say
you
it again,
play
one
the
more
drums?
time. Maybe I'll just hit on it.
Temporary layoffs, good times. Easy credit ripoffs, good times. Blank and blank, good times. And no, it's not scratching and surviving.
Itching and living.
I love it. That's
I
not
thought
right.
you were trying to give it to me.
That's not right. Is that right, sir?
It's not that is an earlier verse.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Hey,
Dang, I
Greg,
feel-
thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks,
Nice job on the Mindy Lopez pull as well.
You get Mindy Lopez, and then
I
you get
know.
a Good Times theme song, and it's
So temporary layoffs, good times. Easy credit ripoffs, good times. Blankety blank, blanking and blanking, good times.
yes.
Okay.
And the reason why I said I will accept both is one that was actually written when it was you have the song credits and the lyrics on the title.
Yeah.
Well, one says one thing, and then the producers eventually said no, it's actually supposed to be this.
Oh wow.
And so that's why there's always a disconnect.
Yeah.
So
Like when we were playing a John Sherman clip, and Sam McDowell asked a follow-up of, do you think you're still going to get the $1 billion in private investment for the entertainment district? And John Sherman replied and said, would you? Except for what he actually says is, we do. But when he first responded is, do you think you're going to get the, would you?
That's why I
Do we both?
kind of wasn't paying attention,
You know
and then
what?
all of a sudden,
Play that, by the way. That is clip number 4, and you might have to search for the follow-up from Sam McDowell and play the Sam McDowell question, and then we'll go to break after that, and then we'll get back into playing some sports or leisure. But I'm telling you, he's like, will you still get the would you? Or we do. It's one of those, excuse me as I kiss the sky, or this guy. Which one is it, Sterling, huh? Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Right?
Was that what you and Dylan were doing in the noon
Singing.
hour?
We were singing.
Oh, singing.
That's right.
Yeah.
But Sam McDowell, with it, I really thought he said, would you? But here's the Sam McDowell question, and you tell me what your mind hears.
You still anticipate $1 billion private investment in that area?
Would you? We think there'll be $1 billion investment.
Would you? Do you still anticipate $1 billion investment? Would you?
You still anticipate $1 billion private investment in that area?
Would you?
Wow.
But he does say we do. But it sounds like, would you? Would you anticipate that? Are you kidding me? Look how much of a cluster this is. Would you expect that? Bleep no, man. The whole thing's falling apart.
Our pets'
heads are falling off. Cats and dogs living together. The worst parts of the Bible. We're playing sports or leisure. It's $25 to Johnny's Tavern on the line. We'll get back into the phone calls. 913-3-810-810. More Zone right after this.
foul line.
Either way, you were wrong. Greg was right. So next time Greg calls in, he's an automatic winner.
And I'm man enough to admit my mistakes.
Oh, about time. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't, everybody else would just let you know that it was.
I'm getting ripped on Twitter right now. I'm just getting blasted. But Dylan's dad's just roasting me right now.
Good.
He even
about time he turned his attention
lyrics.
from Dylan to you. So I have no idea. I was thinking about my relationship with my father. You're right.
I have yet again learned a lot about Jason in this 36 minutes.
You're mad at your dad, not at me. You're right. I hate my father. You don't know that movie, by the way.
Are we sure it's a movie?
It's from Big Daddy.
And now you're saying this, Jason.
It's when the guy was rollerblading down this, and they threw something at him, and the guy was mad. You're mad at your dad, not at me. You're right. I hate my father.
Is the movie in here with you right now?
Let's
Jason?
talk more about this movie. Can you talk more about the rollerblader that you have now? Do you picture yourself as said rollerblader?
How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel like going back to the phone lines. 913-381-810-810. Let's go to the phone lines. And this says Avery's on line 3. Is Avery still on line 3? No? Okay, just making sure because I don't know if there was another. Is that another Avery? Is that a different Avery? Let's find out.
No, it's the same Avery. You never got my information.
He's been on the hold for 20 minutes. All right, Avery, sports or leisure, sing the entire Good Times theme song. Good times. We'll put you on hold again, Avery.
That's on me.
Now, here's the thing. If only Greg were still on hold, that would have been
Greg,
better.
I'm sorry, Greg.
If only Greg were still on hold. Let's go to Jay next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jay, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
We'll do leisure.
Ooh, sing me a song, You're the Piano Man, finish the lyric, or we have What's the Name? Baseball edition, what's this dude's real name?
Sing me a song.
Oh, man. We took away the good times because that's on me. Do you
Well, that's typically what happens when Sterling joins us. Boom! Sorry, go ahead, Sterling. Sorry about that. That was
do you
unnecessary.
Want country, classic rock, or 90s?
I better do classic rock.
All right, got classic rock right here. We'll do Enter Sandman, Metallica right here. Something's wrong, shut the light, heavy thoughts tonight, and they aren't of Snow White. I'm not going to do the vibrato that
Come on, man.
I'm not going to.
What's the point, Sterling?
The caller can do this. Dreams of war, dreams of liars.
Dreams of dragon fire.
That was the lyric.
Oh, my bad. Well, that's your fault for not doing. Hey, what's the answer, Jay?
Dreams of dragon fire.
See, he knew it.
Gosh, Jason.
Yeah, I got excited. Sorry about that, Sterling.
How long? You think I was going to sing the entire song and just stop?
It felt like you were. You were going on for a while, Sterling, okay?
It's 14 words, Jason.
It was so long it became repetitive, Sterling, okay? I feel like there needed to be some sort of finality to it, so I stepped in.
The only word that was repetitive was the word of.
Yeah, I know. But, hey, Jay got it right onto the sports side. And you know what?
Thanks, man.
And he sang it, too.
Hey, I'll try.
See? There you go. Onto the sports side, Jay, we got Royals opening day, and we have some college basketball. What are you thinking?
Man, I better go college basketball.
All right.
Even though I got my Royals jersey on and everything, I better go college basketball.
No, you're good. We got a question out there already, and the question was, who's the last national championship winner to make a Sweet 16 the following tournament? That's out there. Florida was guessed, and that was wrong. It's since Florida. And then we also have some fresh questions as well.
Let me go fresh.
All right. This is sort of along the same lines as that one, but it's different. North Carolina won the national championship. They were this is last year, preseason number 1, North Carolina. Name either of the previous 2 teams to miss the NCAA tournament the year after actually winning the national championship. So either of the most recent 2 teams to win, that's UNC, to win a national championship and then miss the tournament. Well, North Carolina didn't even win the national title. They lost to KU and then didn't make the tournament. So either of the last 2 teams.
They just choked.
Either of the last 2 teams?
Either of them. And they were very close to each other, by the way, in the not too long ago. Since Florida. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
This one's since Florida as well. But either of them.
Man, how about Virginia?
Virginia, not a bad guess, but it was not Virginia. It would have been nice to be Virginia, probably.
Darn it.
You know what? Was it Virginia? Because did they win 2019, and then they didn't make the tournament in 2020 because there wasn't one. But that does not count. Jay, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it, brother. You were right, though, that Virginia, after winning the national title, did not make the tournament the next year.
Technicality.
Purdue trying to become the second team ever to lose in the first round to a 16 seed and then win a national championship the next year.
It's wild that there's actually a team that had done it before.
Yeah.
Imagine having that sort of ineptitude the year prior and say, well, we can do something that no one's ever seen.
Lost to a 16 seed, then won a national title. Lost to a 16 seed, and they look like a freight train right now.
It hasn't happened in like 6 years. It's been a long
Exactly.
time.
It's been such a long time. Let's go to Chuck next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Chuck, Sports Radio 810, Sports or Leisure, $25 to Johnny's Tavern. What side do you want to start with?
Let's do Leisure.
All right.
Go, baby.
Go
What's
to
that
Sterling.
name? Baseball edition. What is this dude's real name? Or sing me a song of the Piano Man, which is finish the lyric.
Let's go with what's that name, because I don't want to hear me sing today.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
I wanted to hear you,
so
Chuck.
We have B.J. Upton out there on the board, or do you want a fresh one?
Yeah, there's a B.J. Upton available or a fresh one. So
let's go with Felicio Upton, if I could.
Jesus. That's not his real name.
All right.
Sorry.
What is
My bad.
B.J. Upton's real name? Again, I will actually take two answers for this
It's your
one.
fault, Sterling. It's your fault.
Melvin, right?
It is Melvin.
Yeah, we would have also taken Boss Man Jr.
Yeah, BJ stands for Boss Man Jr., but his real name is Melvin.
Melvin. All right, on to the is it sports side now? Did he already get sports? I have no idea. I've lost track.
Sports side.
All right, we got college basketball, the Royals opening day. What are you thinking, Chuck?
Let's go with the Royals opening day in honor of opening day.
That makes sense.
You're saying BJ and Melvin don't make sense?
No, but this is in honor of opening day, is what he's saying. 3 players in Royals history have double-digit opening day starts at one position. Who are they?
Well, George Brett at third base.
Yep, 12 times.
Frank White at second.
15 times. And one more.
I'm going to go with, oh, man.
It's not
Willie Wilson's my gut, but I don't.
I'll tell you, it's not Willie Wilson, but close, same position, essentially, or outfield. But
10 starts at the same position.
At least 10.
Okay.
Yep. This guy's got 11 starts at the same position. Opening.
Not
day
Gordon. He didn't play that long in the outfield.
No, it is not.
It's not Matt Stairs either.
That is true. It is also not Matt Stairs
or Aaron Guile.
Not Mindy Lopez either.
Yeah.
It is also not Mindy Lopez. That is correct.
Joey Gathright feels close.
Yes.
Nori Aoki.
Yeah, no, not Nori Aoki. It is an outfielder, but not necessarily.
70s outfielder is kind of leaning that way to me. Nope. So I'm not going to say Amos Otis for sure.
No, I was going to say both. I was going to say sort of around that era. So who were you going to say?
I was going to say Amos Otis.
Go ahead. Just say that one. Amos Otis is correct. Nice job. A.O. did it 11 times in center field. So Amos Otis, 11, George Brett, 12, Frank White, 15, Salvi today, 8. So need a couple more for Salvi to enter that group.
David DeJesus, how many was he at? 7?
You mean DeJesus.
That's good.
You can't say DeJesus without DeJesus. That's right. Chuck will put you on hold. Congratulations, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Well done. Absolutely.
You need to
What a
talk like
call from
that
Chuck.
all the time.
Yeah, but if I do that all the time, then people would just get used to it. So you don't want to do that, you know. Did you hear my home run call with apparently Oak Street going to be open now with the renderings?
Is that a broken car? Another broken windshield for Krieger Glass.
No, it's there's a drive by Vinny Pasquantino, short right field and gone off the glass of the hotel. Exit velocity of 71 miles an hour. Distance 225. I don't know.
Do that too.
I don't
well.
know how Oak Street is going to open up.
How many hours have you spent on that impersonation?
Actually, came natural to me, honestly. I didn't really have to practice it. I just started.
He's a natural.
Trying
He's a natural.
to do it, yeah.
They've been a movie about you, The Natural.
That, yes, nicknamed Hobbs. Wonder Boy. Let's go to Andrew next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Andrew, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I'll start with the leisure.
All right, what do you want? What's that name? What's the dude's real name? Or sing me a song, You're the Piano Man, which is finish the lyric.
Let's finish the lyrics.
All righty. Do you want country, 90s, or classic rock?
Country.
All right. Well, I guess I was wrong. I just don't belong. But then I've been there before. Everything's all right. I'll just say goodnight, and I'll
show myself to the door.
There you go.
Oh, that was for him. Oh, darn it.
Jason is just wanting to sing along at every single moment. Do you think I was going to not do the part? Like, when do you think I'm...
I didn't know when you were going to stop. I was singing along with you. I didn't know when it was going to be over for you. When you were going to get as I was going to sing with you because you're the piano man and then hand it over to Andrew. Andrew, sports side, we've got Royals opening day and we have college basketball.
Let's go Royals.
Royals opening day. All right. This is in honor of them playing the Twins today. It might be a little bit tougher. I don't know. How old are you, Andrew?
35.
35. Okay, so you should be, maybe. Who knows? 2 players have started at least back-to-back opening days for both the Twins and the Royals. Name either. 2 players have started back-to-back opening days for both.
Like, so you mean start like pitch you?
Start as in the field.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Starting opening day and I'll tell you, both of them started on the left side of the infield for the Twins and the Royals. Either of them.
I don't know. Alex Gordon.
Alex Gordon is incorrect. Andrew, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. We will. Should we take a timeout, come back, and then give the answers out? All right. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Sports or Leisure presented by Johnny's Tavern. Wrapping up the show coming up next. Question of the show. Thank you to Johnny's Tavern, $25 we give away to Johnny's Tavern with sports or leisure. The answer to who the last national championship winner to make the Sweet 16 the following tournament was Doak. Doak is Doak. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns, 2016 to 2015, 2016. The teams to win a national championship and not make the tournament the next year. The most recent, UConn, 2014 national title, missed in 15. Kentucky, 2012, missed in 13. And the two players that have started at least back-to-back opening days for both the Twins and the Royals, Greg Gagne, Gary Gaetti. Starting together, by the way, with the Twins, shortstop and third base. Starting together with the Royals, same back-to-back at shortstop and third base. Do we have any questions that we did not get answers to in leisure?
No, everyone got mine because apparently mine are child's play.
And I didn't help anybody along the way either.
No, you
with
didn't.
Some of those
you
questions.
didn't finish the lyric yourself. No, you did a great job.
We even had somebody get one right that we told him was you told him was wrong. So we had that too.
That's on me, Greg. That's on me, Greg.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with Sterling. It is on him. It is absolutely his fault. Thank you to Johnny Tavern. Thank you, Sterling. Appreciate it. The program comes up next in college basketball tonight.